All right, you're on.
Hannah's on.
Yeah. Happy Tuesday. Does it feel like Tuesday?
Yes.
It does?
Yes. It feels like a very.
Feels like Monday overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extra innings.
Extra. This is Monday. Extra innings.
Huh. I think that's a good assessment. I still can't believe how fast last week went.
Yeah. Well, you were gone for the first day of last week, so you only had to do 4 days of last week.
I'm not used to taking days off, so it was weird. Next Thursday and Friday, I won't be here. Surprise.
Really?
Nope.
Oh,
I'm watching our viewer count drop.
sad days. Can you tell us where or why?
I'm going to Indiana.
Oh, exciting Indiana.
I know.
I have a friend from Indiana, and he's like, whenever you cross over to Indiana from Illinois, you can just feel yourself moving up in life. Like, that's a very Tracy thing to say.
Super exciting. Beautiful scenery.
We're working on fixing that.
Yes,
Do you
we
have
are.
audio issues?
No, fixing Illinois
Yeah.
State.
Yeah, I'd like that.
We're in the fight. So today, YouTube poll.
All right. Would you support Tulsi Gabbard for president? Yes or no?
She made some pretty bold statements in a video she released earlier today, and we are going to bring that video to you at some point. So you can hear it. But we just want to know, would you support a Tulsi Gabbard for president?
I'm curious to hear the conversation.
Yeah. And it's a yes or no question. It's not a.
Do you have a definitive? Don't tell me what your answer is.
I do have a definitive.
Do you? You're impressionable.
There he is.
I am impressionable. Welcome to the studio, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Tell me when we go live.
We're live. So we were just talking about our YouTube poll. Do you want to talk about our special guest we have for today?
Yeah, dude, this is going to be awesome. So we're going to have Regan Deering in, and she's got former acting attorney general Matt Whitaker with her, and they're both going to be in studio to speak to us about her candidacy for Congress, and I'm sure we'll have some good questions for the former AG about some legal stuff, won't you?
Yes, I do.
And
So they're on together?
they're on together.
We've been having resident studio guests.
I know, it's super exciting. Hey, yeah, and then at 1 o'clock we're gonna have Jim Carafano back. You know, he's gonna talk to us about foreign policy stuff, southern border
Tuesday.
stuff. You know what we do on Tuesday, just keep us up to date, and whether or not we're gonna be like piles of smoldering nuclear ash or not. So
I'm not asking that question. I don't want to know the answer.
At 12:45, we have something, as well.
12:45.
We scheduled Weekends America for 12:45 today. Yeah.
We did that today as opposed to other days
Mhm.
where it just floats. I'm most excited about the clips that I have pulled for this one because
We got Wiggins America audio today.
yes,
Whoa!
Yes.
This show's next level.
I
Is it in
know.
the correct place?
No,
Oh, okay.
not
There's
there
still
yet,
time. There's
but
still
yeah,
45
I
minutes.
got
40
time.
minutes.
It's only 12:05.
Fun fact: I almost forgot to put all of our audio in today, so we almost had nothing. But I caught it.
We have redundancies for that.
Yeah.
So should be a good Tuesday here on St. Louis's home for conservative talk at 7-1.
Obviously, you're going to be here for the start of the show, but I would be here if I were you for
The whole thing.
The whole show, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you know that the show's about to start. You don't know what's going to happen in the next segment. And then Weekends America, obviously, you don't want to miss that. And then Jim Carafano. But then Regan Deering and Matt Whitaker.
And the YouTube poll results.
He just read the show sheet.
So
Maybe for the first time today. Amanda on YouTube says, "Sweet, we're stumbling into sound for Weekends America."
yes,
Yes.
thank you, Amanda.
And
That's
the show's
true.
already starting off better than yesterday because we hit Fox News.
Yeah, it feels like we got too much time now.
Yeah.
Yep.
You.
Room for activities.
Some chicken.
I gotta put some lipstick
Did
on.
you have chicken today?
I have
Tuesday.
had some chicken, but I still have some to go, and some fries.
What about the cookie?
I heard there was a biscuit up for grabs.
There's always a biscuit up for grabs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought
it's
it was
really
like cookie.
That's the best part of a KFC meal.
It's also
Yeah.
the worst part at the same time.
I mean, like it's like donuts, just better.
What you
It's
want.
not better for you.
Absolutely. It's
Here
just
we
not
go
good
again.
for you.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, not that I dislike the biscuit. It's just
Balls for you says,
Alright.
always a good day, y'all, on the AFS. A personal shout out to Joe Balls the son. His name is Johnson.
She said that in the pre-show because she wouldn't say that on the air.
Is this the intro? This is the intro.
I know it's not Johnson. But
His
I know what
first-
it changed.
His first get out of here. His first day on the job as a police officer to Balls his son. Congratulate him in the chat. We gotta do a show.
But they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome to the Annie Frey Show here on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis is home for conservative talk, but you knew that already, didn't you? We are glad that you're here. It feels very autumnish outside, and I'm here for it. I'm kind of in the... I didn't talk yesterday about baseball, and I'm not going to talk about baseball because I still need a minute. But
I think we all need a minute.
yeah, I know. I feel bad because yesterday you pulled a whole bunch of sound, and I just saw that. I didn't even read the words because I can't.
It's in the drive. We can get to it
We'll
later.
get to it at a better time. I'm just not ready for that yet. But I did say to my husband just the other day, you know what? It's not the way I wanted it, but with baseball over here in St. Louis, I feel like I can fully give myself over to the election because, boy, is that taking up a lot of our time and energy and angst and stress. And, you know, it's October in an election year, which means it's 4 weeks from today, the election. We're here. I mean, this is it. This is when I refer to it as silly season. This is when that last couple things that you had in your pocket, you leave everything on the field to try to get your candidate across the finish line or to try to finally officially put the nail in the coffin for the other campaign. That is where we are right now, and I feel like I can fully pay attention to it. Interesting that at this point in time, on October 11th, we are reporting on one Tulsi Gabbard, who's running for exactly nothing right now, and as a Democrat has been openly critical in the past as a Democrat of her own party. Let's listen to this message that she put up. She has I think it's the Tulsi Gabbard Show, aptly named, on YouTube. She's got a show on YouTube, and she made this announcement.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans, who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents, and above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.
Tulsi Gabbard walks away from the Democratic Party. Now, you'll notice in that statement, what did she not say? She did not identify herself as a Republican now. She certainly did not say, all right, Republicans, here I am. Let's go, grand old party, and make this thing happen. She said that she has walked away for those reasons from the Democrat Party, and she's inviting other people to do the same. Today's Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll: would you support Tulsi Gabbard for president, yes or no? I am very interested to see how this poll, the results of this poll for this audience at the end of the show. Get your vote in, give us a comment and tell us why yes or no. very interested in what you have to say. My thoughts on the impact of Tulsi Gabbard making this statement. If you look at the Fox News article that's highlighting this, they pull some tweets from people who are notable Democrats. Katie Fang, who I've never heard of before, but apparently she's an MSNBC host. Did you know that?
I did not.
I didn't either. She replied to Tulsi Gabbard's tweet with this announcement, said, "Wait, you are a Democrat? Sure could have fooled me." A lot of people indicating that she has not left the Democrat Party, that she wasn't a Democrat to begin with. And it's a pretty measurable response. There's not going to be a public outpouring of support for Tulsi from the Democrats who are trying to entice her back. Are the things that she listed in her criticisms of the Democratic Party true? They are. The things that she associates with the Democrat Party that she doesn't want to be associated with anymore, I think, are universal, across the party lines issues that bring people together. And they really are a culmination, an amalgamation of how the left jumped the shark. The idea that liberalism was a way of thinking, a way of being that wanted independence and liberty and wanted to be left alone by a big government who wanted to be, inside your bedroom and helping make all these decisions for your life. That used to be a leftist criticism of the way the right tried to govern or represent themselves as a party, that there was a certain kind of person you had to be in order to be a Republican. And that certain kind of person that you had to be was, a kind of Western Christian kind of good being. Would you agree with that, Brad? I mean, you're a pastor, so you're a man of faith professionally, and then you get to be here on this show to comment about politics. But our parents and our grandparents' Republican political party was represented by kind of an idealistic view of who a person should be.
I would say so. I think that there was this idea of, I guess you would talk about their faith, and then their identity and their politics is what wrapped up in that faith. So you ended up with this idea of, conservatism being linked really closely with Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And this idea that, family, faith, and then the government.
Here's a question for you, Pastor. Because as a conservative myself, a lot of my personal conservatism comes from my Christian faith. It dictates how I want to live my life and how I want to raise my family with my husband. Big difference between having that for me and being able to set those expectations for me as a conservative, and then demanding that a representative government takes my beliefs and forces it upon everybody else because my beliefs are the correct ones.
Yeah, you cannot, I say, I don't know if you've ever heard me say, if I've ever said this on the air, but you cannot legislate heart change. So what we look for in Christianity is a change of heart, but you can't do that from the legislative bench. You can't pass laws that change people's hearts. You can't legislate people into being Christians. It's just not the way it works. So it's unrealistic. That works the other way as well. And so whenever you look at how the left handles things, they're attempting to do the exact same thing that they accuse the right of doing, of pushing their morality onto the right. My lifestyle as a Christian, just like I assume your lifestyle, be it Jewish or as an agnostic or an atheist, I still feel like I should be able to expect of any walk of faith a common understanding of good and bad, morality. Your derision comes from a different place, but there are many things that without the insertion of a religious faith, be it any walk of religious faith, that we should be able to agree on most things. And then, of course, in a Christian sense, put a Lutheran and a Catholic in a room and a lot of people are going to lump them into the same category. That's going to be where the most spirited arguments and disagreements in good conversation are going to come from, because Lutherans are Lutherans because they tried to reform the Catholic Church. There was there was not an agreement there. So there is a specific difference of belief that exists between the theologies of both of those churches. When somebody wants to insert religion into politics, they grossly demean the purpose of religion. Politics is so far beneath religion and faith and the purpose of faith. And I would say that for any faith walk that's out there, Christian or non-Christian, the action of Christianity and one's personal faith and, do you follow the 10 Commandments or the Torah or whatever it is that you are following, you cannot take that to government and expect government to produce an outcome that is witness and an expansion of the kingdom. Because that's what Christian faith is. I believe that previously we were such an outwardly Christian nation that line wasn't so different. That it wasn't an instance where you would look, you didn't have as many people who wanted to be openly and outspoken, not Christian. We were a more Christian society in an acceptable way, culturally speaking. The way of life of somebody who is a Christian, how you act and how you behave as a Christian, is not what is responsible for the outcome of what Christianity is. The point of Christianity is a belief in a heaven and a hell, and a belief in the fact that you're imperfect, and the need for somebody to make you perfect, knowing that you can never achieve that yourself. That's got nothing to do with a Republican or Democrat in the White House. Nothing to do with it. And I'm speaking specifically to Christianity because that's the faith I am and that I know. I think that the political parties previously had a very heavy-handed Christian influence on politics. And as that pulled away, liberals wanted to be able to do what they wanted, live the way they wanted. They didn't want to be told that they have to subscribe to a certain set of rules that somebody, picked and chose from a religious document that they didn't believe in. There are still laws and there's still order that somebody who doesn't subscribe to those biblical or religious beliefs can agree upon, that thou shalt not murder. I mean, you can take the thou shalt not. You could say, don't murder. And one of those is biblical and one of those is just obvious secular speak. But it's agreeable across religions. Liberals wanted that heavy-handed Christian focus in America to say, you can't push this on me from a position of government. And in my opinion, that's actually accurate. And that's the whole point of being able to come to the United States and say, I want to worship the way I want to worship without being influenced on the way you want to worship. And the key here is when that change happened, and liberals in large part got their way, because the whole point, the premise behind what liberals were asking for was for the government to not wrap them up in their arms and say, this is how we're doing it, folks. You're on board, whether you like it or not. Liberals were saying, no. I want to be able to live the life that I want to live. I want to be free. I want to be independent. And I don't need you to come tell me everything that I need to do, everything I need to say, every way that I need to act. Two things came from that. The people on the far progressive left, not the traditional liberals, took that as an opportunity to swing the pendulum all the way to the other side. And now the left is doing exactly to the country what the original liberals fought against, which is they're telling you how to live your life. They're telling you what you will accept and what you won't accept. They're telling you what is allowed, what is permitted, and what is non-speak. They're telling you what you can say and what you can't say. They're telling you that if you act in a certain way that you will be canceled, that you're not wanted here, and that certain people are to be marginalized because they don't subscribe to the approved way of living in the United States of America. And now guess what? The conservative party is over here being the traditional liberals going, get the heck out of my life. Move along. I will be a Christian, conservative mother of four in the middle of this country in the heartland and be proud of it as the lifestyle that I choose. And you will have nothing to do with telling me differently. And nothing about what I just said about me has anything to do with what you choose to do with your life. Just butt out of mine. And every time you see a budget line item in a government program about enacting social justice and diversity, equity, and inclusion, that is a way that they get to take your tax dollars and sign checks to push woke agendas into your face and make sure that you have to subscribe to that. We need to be as active as those liberals were in, I guess, my parents' generation. Most of you listening probably lived this. We need to be as active on our side as saying, this is the lifestyle I choose. And I am not ashamed of it. And it is okay to be what other people say it's not okay to be. It is okay to be outwardly Christian. It is okay for me to choose for my life to want to have a monogamous relationship with a husband that I waited for so that I could have a family with all 4 dozens of kids that I have and raise them in a suburban atmosphere and still vote Republican. That's what I choose for me. I'm not choosing that for you. I'm not choosing that for anyone else. But don't come at me and call me names and work into your government systems a way that suggests that what I'm doing is wrong. Because in America, we do have the freedom to choose these lifestyles for ourselves. And it should be protected. It should be protected as much with my traditional, boring, non-diverse in the minds of all the leftist box checkers and all the demographic sheets. If I'm not impressive enough for the woke left, I am okay with that. If you think that I need to have an open mind and that I don't because of who I am, then you haven't spent any time getting to know me, which means you're the one with the closed mind. I think Tulsi Gabbard is a byproduct of being somebody who's known this about the left for a really long time and doesn't have anything to lose to step up and say, I'm not doing it. I don't need this. This isn't American. I'm stepping away. Don't confuse that with policy. Don't confuse that with political interests on specific policies. This is a mentality, and right now the mentality in this country far supersedes any specific issue that is to be discussed on any given day that would actually have a meaningful impact on your life. I'm incredibly excited to hear that Tulsi Gabbard said publicly, I'm leaving the Democrat Party. But I'm very curious to find out from you, and Brad, I'm going to ask you when we come back. Does this make a difference? Does this make anybody raise their eyebrow and go, oh, tell me more? I'd like to know more about why she did that. Because that's where we will find out if this has meaning, if this has a ripple effect. Go vote in the Anti-Fry YouTube live chat poll. Would you support Tulsi Gabbard for president? Yes or no? Brad and I both have definitive answers on this. We haven't discussed it yet, and we'll get to that a little later in the show. But your comments coming through right now on the Anti-Fry YouTube live chat. Hannah is setting them aside. She's already got 22 comments set aside. She's going to have to pare some of those down. So make them good, but leave your comments right there and vote in the poll. We are going to have Jim Carafano in the 1 o'clock hour, and we are also going to have 125 in studio, Regan Deering, who's running for the Illinois 13th District. It's pretty much a toss-up district, might be leans Dem right now, but I'd say it's a toss-up. And also Matt Whitaker is going to be in studio with us. He's the former acting United States Attorney General under Trump in between Sessions and Barr. He's going to be in studio here with the Anti-Fry Show, which is sweet. We hope you stick with us. We'll be right back.
Oh, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home to you.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. This is a place for people to come together. Right here, right now. Make your voice heard. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
So fall is officially here. Air Comfort Service is a phone call away. I'm going to give you their number here in a minute, so pop out your phone so you can save it. You can call them when it's convenient. You need to make sure that furnace is in good working order. We've had the furnace on in our house, and it's nice to be able to flip that thing on and know that it's reliable and that it's going to work. And I feel that way because Air Comfort Service put a new furnace in our home a couple Christmases ago. When you have Air Comfort Service come out to assess the troubleshooting situation you might have, furnace is blowing but not heating, it's not blowing, or whatever it might be, they're going to be able to give you options on if you need to fix something, if you need to replace something, but they also do a fantastic job of connecting you with rebates and financing opportunities to make sure that if you choose to make any specific situation, they're going to be able to make it possible for you to stay in your comfort zone. Like I said, I'm going to give you this phone number now. Punch it into your phone and save it as Air Comfort Service so they are there when you're ready to call them. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. AirComfortService.com.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. Our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize and travel, but inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want, and Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Go tell that long-tongued liar.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him that God's gonna cut him down. Tell him that God's gonna cut him down.
You know, we get criticized, frankly, sometimes for being woke. I'm not sure what woke means. I think woke means a lot of different things to different people. But first of all, I would say if woke means, we are not focused on war fighting, we are not focused on readiness, that doesn't reflect what I see at installations all around the country or overseas when I go and visit. But I think, we do have a wide range of soldiers in our Army, and we've got to make them all feel included. And that's why a lot of our diversity, equity, and inclusion programs are important.
I am not in a position of I'm not in the know to say this with authority. And I know that there are people listening right now who have bravely served their country and gone through being in the military. That was the Secretary of the Army. She says we've got to make them all feel included. My understanding of military service is that the very first thing that they do is they strip you of your identity. Because your purpose in the military is to serve your country to the point of death. That the thing that matters the most is your service to the country with the people on each side of you, and it does not matter in any way, shape, or form what they look like, what they sound like. They do everything they can to make you look the same, and you have no differences. Because when you are in the United States military, your purpose is greater than yourself. It's the only way that it works. And to hear the Secretary of the Army say in the first breath, we're ready, we're good. But we also have to make these people make them all feel included. That's new. That's new to me.
I can't follow her logic here. She's like, I think we're prepared to fight. That's the goal, right? Military that's prepared to fight. And then they spout off these lines like, diversity is our strength. Well, I can understand and appreciate diversity being a strength. That's not how the military works. In the military, when it comes to fighting wars, strength is your strength.
Amen.
You win by having the best warfighters, not by having the most diverse warfighters, but by the best ones.
Mark on YouTube says you become the last four of your social, and the number they give you in basic training. I was 217. So here we go from Mark, who was in basic training, and Mark, thank you for your service. You're not only not your skin color or your sexual identity or your gender identity or your religion or your height or your weight. You're not only not those things, you are a number to the military. And I would imagine that it would be hard to be able to do the job and the task that they're asked to be doing in any other way, because it is not a normal thing to ask of a person, which is why it's so exceptional. And the humans who sign up for this in this country, who volunteer for this, are so exceptional. Oh, I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it goes with what I was saying in the first segment here, talking about Tulsi Gabbard and her departure from the Democratic Party. We have gone from a Democratic Party that celebrated the little guy and liberalism, which traditionally meant a sort of separation from an overbearing government that wanted to rule your life. I mean, we used to say to the government, get out of my bedroom. Now they're like coming in to verify that your bedroom has all of the appropriate flags and markers of being appropriately supportive. And if you don't, they will come and they will treat you accordingly. That's the new way of doing things. And now the traditional liberals are actually the conservatives going, get out of my bedroom, get out of my kitchen, get out of my children's bedrooms, get out of my house, and let me take care of what I want to take care of, because this is America and I'm in charge as a voter and as a taxpayer. Do not come tell me how to live my life. That will not stand.
Right. It's this idea that the government has a responsibility. That responsibility is to, protect the borders, make sure that we're not invaded, provide us some sort of semblance of order within the community, safety within the community. What they're not to do is to manage the community, to turn the community into what somebody thinks the community should look like and should be. It's allow you to be you within the guardrails of don't murder anybody, don't steal from people, guarding people's freedoms.
Basic
not
moral good and evil, good
right.
and bad.
Don't impose morality on people, but keep them from harming one another and in defending the individual's rights. That's not what it is anymore. That's what intersectionality is all about. That's why putting people in groups is so important. It's like we've got to defend this group, we got to group you into this group, and set you against one another so that you can't fight back against us.
You know what the saddest part, and as I've mentioned before, and we'll continue to mention here on the Annie Frey Show, that Brad is a pastor also. The saddest part of the direction that government has swayed from being a boldly Christian-founded nation, there's no mandated religion, but a country founded on Christian principles, and having people who would proudly state their Christianity. It was kind of an understood thing that you were Christian, and it was the exception if you weren't. It's not as if you were a pariah if you weren't, but it was like, oh, you're not a person of faith. Like, that's the way it used to be generations ago. Liberals wanted to push that out of their lives. They wanted to be able to live their lives in this country without the pressure of religion infiltrating their lives when it was not a religion they subscribed to. So what ended up happening is the government structure, the people who were elected into it, took it in that direction. And as the pendulum swung from what many felt was a more culturally conservative and Christian expectation on individuals, it passed the middle rapidly into where we are right now, which is the expectation. I mean, there are expectations that exist of you, of what you are not to tolerate. It was probably maybe 12 years ago when we were supposed to learn how to be tolerant. You are not to be tolerant. That is not enough. You are to be in acceptance of, not just in your heart, but publicly. You have to show people on a regular basis with the appropriate, it's like, is that Office Space where you have to have the flare on your,
yeah.
You have to have woke flair on your daily uniform and car and sticker on your laptop and on your bag that you carry and on your keychain and all of the things. You have to have the appropriate woke flair so that everybody understands you're not a Nazi. That's really not oversimplifying the situation. The saddest part about all of this is that while the idea of Christianity and its overreaching, perceived by the people who were liberal leftists, the overreaching hand of Christianity that was trying to be pushed out of the expectations of everybody in culture, you know what ended up happening? The church stopped being completely and totally adherent to the faith with which it prescribed in the days before to the days now. That Bible is the same document today as it was 50 years ago and 100 years ago. And pastor, that's why I mentioned that you're a pastor. For a Christian faith, for a Jewish faith, for a Muslim faith, for a Hindu faith, go through all of them. All of these different faiths have walks where you are supposed to follow a specific path and different ideas of when you go astray, salvation, how it's attainable, if it's provided, whatever. All of these different religious faiths, not just Christianity, have a rubric of what is good and what is bad. That did not change when governmental, political, cultural was pressured to change. The documents, the sources did not change, but the church sure did.
Yeah, the church did. And this is going to sound harsh, but there are an awful lot of squishy leaders in the church these days. People that are afraid, the church grew under persecution in the first century. the church is moving into another time of persecution. If you guys don't believe me, just open up a newspaper and look and see what's happening to people that are espousing Christian beliefs, that are espousing sincere Orthodox Jewish beliefs. They're being sued, they're being attacked, they're being raided by the FBI, they're being accused of all these other things. And there are people out there that when they looked at the opportunity to look and say, what's more important to me, my faith or my comfort, they chose comfort, which speaks an awful lot about how sincerely they held their beliefs. And we as Christians, you and I, and, you know, if you have a sincerely held religious belief, I expect you to adhere to it because it's sincere. That's what sincere means. You have to adhere to your belief. And it doesn't matter what culture does. Sometimes the most brave thing you can do is stand against the culture. And there's way too many people out there that would rather be wrong and in the majority than by themselves incorrect. And that's what we're seeing.
I'm more concerned about the woke progressive left, not the liberals, the woke progressive left and their compromise of the church than I am of the current state of government.
1,000%. Because that's where the damage is done to the culture.
Exactly. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America in studio. We're going to talk a little Arizona. We've covered with Ryan Wiggins, New York. We've covered Pennsylvania. Now let's go down to our southwestern neighbors in Arizona and see what's going on down there and how that is going to contribute or not to what we hope to see happen 28 days from now on Election Day. Stick around. Morning Frey Show in a minute.
I will go tell that long-tongued liar. Go and tell that
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Tell him that God's gonna cut him down. Tell him that God's gonna cut him down.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Jesse Jane Duff. And if you don't stand with President Trump, you're an enabler of what the Democratic Party is doing to our country every day, and the rhinos and all of these conservatives that are in Washington, D.C. just for the mere paycheck.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan guy. I really encourage you to have a conversation with Stewie to see how he can help you. Mounting credit card debt, mounting debt that you may have that has high interest loans. Have you considered doing a cash out refinance on your home? You've got equity to play with as home values have risen. You've got equity to play in. And as mortgage rates have gone up, but the credit card debt is skyrocketed, use that equity to pay down that debt and save money. You can do a refinance in another couple of years if the rates go back down again to secure an even lower rate with Stewie. And it doesn't cost you anything when you do either of these things because he doesn't charge you the fees that everybody else out there will charge you for. It's called the bagel loan, and it's only at Stewart's American Mortgage. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can call or text that number and just say, hey, my name is Jim Bob, I heard about you on the Annie Frey Show, wondering if you can help me. And he will quickly get back to you and tell you how he can help you. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
CertaPro painters have powers far beyond those of ordinary painters. For example, they have the power of reliability, the power of doing it right, and the power of fresh color. And this is a great time to spruce up the interior of your home with a fresh coat of paint, and CertaPro can help. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. For your home or business, CertaPro can knock out a great painting project for you. CertaPro painters, the power of pro. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro painters, proven and trusted experts in painting.
The federal government is hiring 87,000 new IRS enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Marlowe Heat Transfer Solutions, located in High Ridge, Missouri, is now hiring enthusiastic, energetic, and fun people to join their team. Marlowe Heat Transfer Solutions, a certified great place to work. Go to marlowecoil.com to find the latest openings. That's marlowecoil.com.
Some things happen slowly, and maybe you don't notice right away that you're slowing down, that you don't recover as quickly from injuries or sore muscles, and you kind of wonder why, but you just go on with your life. Victory Men's Health was set up with you in mind. They have medical doctors who've been working in the area of men's health specifically for 30 years. If you've got low T, if you've got ED, if you're dealing with any of those issues, don't suffer in silence. You can thank me later. Book your appointment at victorymenshealth.com.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Now that it's autumn, check window and door seals for proper insulation and replace your furnace air filter. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
What year is this song?
Man, I'm taking a stab here, and I'm going to say 1977.
I was going to say 76.
I actually think you're going to be right.
It is 76.
Yep.
Look at that.
And I was right, too, because I said
lucky
right.
guess.
I thought it was from Space Jam in that documentary about Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm.
Who redid it?
Who
Seal?
redid this song? I think you're thinking of R. Kelly's I Think I Can Fly.
No. I'm
No?
not.
They also do this one in that movie?
I think it's the end credits scene.
Really?
Fly like an eagle.
Yeah. No, I get
Michael
it.
Jordan.
I get it.
Flying from the
I just thought that
free throw line into the dunk.
I Believe I Could Fly was the song I thought. That
Seal! It is.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Like 1976.
What year was Seal?
1996. Right here in front of me. But I could have figured that out because that was a formative time in my life. Space Jam 1996 in the mid-90s. That's not what Wiggins America is about, though. So let's do it.
Wiggins!
Oh! Wiggins! I like the lyrics, though, here on Space Jam, where it says, doot, doot, doo-doo. 4 times in a row.
And everybody who knows the song knows that's got to be exactly the way it's written.
Doot, doot, doo-doo.
So let's talk about Arizona and the Senate first, because that is what matters the most to us right here in Missouri and Illinois. Is what is the makeup of the U.S. Senate going to be? Well, that's the bad news of this one. Again, just like yesterday, we're talking about Pennsylvania yesterday. Arizona, the Senate is Blake Masters versus Mark Kelly, and right now the average has Kelly up by about 4 points. But he's within striking distance, so I wouldn't put this one out of the realm of possibility for Republicans to pick off. And that is one nice thing, is that it would be a pick-off. It's not currently held by a Republican, so the numbers are good there. But I wanted to focus on this Wiggins America on the governor's side, because everybody knows the name Kari Lake. She has made a ton of waves nationally running for governor of Arizona. Her poll numbers are looking very good. And in fact, they're trending in the right direction. Her opponent is Katie Hobbs. And Katie Hobbs is currently the Secretary of State of Arizona, but she has been exposed to be very, very weak on the campaign trail. So I pulled a clip that I'd like to play here of her, and this is all within the context of the fact that she will not debate Kari Lake. Because of answers like this, I think she may be making a decision that everybody, at least in her campaign,
what have you learned, specifically learned from the Latino community?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't necessarily think about it that way in those terms. I think I really value my relationships across the board with different folks, and I learn all the time from people in my life. My sister-in-law, she is Latino, and her family. I love hanging out with them and practicing my Espanol un poquito. But yeah, I mean, I learned so much from her family, but I think it's really hard to separate out Arizona and subtract Latino culture because it's so much a part of who we are as a state. Arizona wouldn't be Arizona without what the Latino community brings.
So there's not one specific lesson you could share with me.
that's the shaved down version of that. It just gets worse. That's over a minute of her stumbling to answer what should be a very friendly question, which is, what have you learned from the Latino community? That's it. And there was no answer given at all in that. So
is she just an empty shell?
She seems like it. Oh. But my question is, and the assertion I'm making here is that she actually was leading this race up until the last maybe month, and then it got much closer, and now Kari Lake is actually winning. Is it ever beneficial for a candidate, because this is not just in Arizona, this has been an issue in Georgia, this has been an issue in Pennsylvania. Is it ever beneficial for a candidate to avoid a debate? Because I don't think it is. I think it makes
absolutely.
I think that it makes the candidate look weaker than even if. I mean, Katie Hobbs is obviously going to be terrible at a debate with Kari Lake, but now Kari Lake has ammunition to say, "Yeah, but you won't even try."
I will give you an example of this, and it's Josh Hawley when he ran in the primary. He did not debate the other Senate candidates in the primary, and the reason was Josh Hawley was so far out in front. He didn't want to give any of those other campaigns oxygen. So like the benefit in not debating is whenever you are the strongest candidate out there and the other candidates are struggling just to break in, don't give them the opportunity to use your name recognition to build their name recognition.
Well, that's a good example, but I wonder in this situation if you think, yes, maybe she'd be weak, but this is a close race. And Kari Lake is absolutely hammering her on the fact that she will not debate.
Yeah, but Kari Lake would hammer her on every single thing she says. No, she should absolutely not debate if she's not comfortable doing it. Fetterman should absolutely not debate. Like, there is not an instance where Fetterman should debate Oz as a smart political move. Because it's going to get worse if they do. And you got to calculate for yourself what kind of position you put yourself in to go on the record, to be challenged face-to-face by the opponent. And it is a direct comparison on a stage. One person, I mean, Tim Ryan standing next to J.D. Vance, which just took place, made Tim Ryan look ridiculous. He shouldn't have done it. I mean, from a political standpoint, I think that if, maybe there could be something to be said like, required debates, that if you want to run for office, there will be a required debate that you have to show up to. And if you don't, then you're not qualified to be on the ballot so that the people can actually have their questions be answered. But there's no, so for instance, Beto O'Rourke put out a video outside of, I think it was the Dallas Examiner or some paper, and the Dallas Examiner invited Beto and I guess Governor Abbott. Abbott's running for re-election. And Abbott didn't show up. He's probably like being governor and didn't see a benefit to going and debating Beto. And Beto is out there doing the same thing that Kari Lake is doing. Of course they are, because that's what they have to work with. But that does not mean at all that Governor Abbott would be better served by debating Beto. It's a smart political move.
Yeah, there's a saying, it goes, better to be silent and thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. And I feel like...
Did Lincoln say that?
I don't know who said that. My dad said that to me a lot, and I didn't listen.
Mr. Range said that.
But Hobbs would be doing that. She would be removing all doubt. Same thing with Fetterman. But I do like the idea of requiring a debate because you shouldn't get away with putting up weak candidates.
Because what that does is it serves the people
not the campaigns and not the parties. If you want to do what's best for your campaign and your party, then I think absolutely I would choose. If you feel like you're going to be outmatched in a debate, that would be a bonehead move. I can't imagine why Katie Hobbs would want to have a debate.
Flip side, I'm actually glad that Herschel Walker is doing it against Warnock, even though I think he's going to lose that debate, though. But we'll see.
Let's take a quick break. Matt Whitaker, Regan, Deering in studio, and Jim Carafano when we come back.
At Diamonds Direct, we're so proud of our value and our selection. But what's most important is our service to you. Our focus has never been to make a sale. It's always about making a friend for life, welcoming you to our family, and taking care of you through all of life's journeys and celebrations. It's why we provide the most transparent education in our industry, helping you make the smartest purchase every time. It's why we offer free cleaning, free sizing, free maintenance for life with any purchase. It's why we're happy to buy your diamond back at a price that's 10% more than you paid us when you're ready to upgrade. It's why, in honor of Bosses Day this weekend, we're honoring you, our most important boss. Come join us this Friday and Saturday, and let us tell you again how much we appreciate you. Take advantage of our free services, and think about taking advantage of that 110% upgrade guarantee before the holiday rush. Diamonds Direct salutes you, our customer, and we thank you always for letting us be a part of your life's biggest moments.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet, and the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed. I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes, cowboy boots, running shoes, walking shoes, flat shoes, heels. Makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Mark Cox here for my friends at Whiskey Dickerson Small Batch Outfitters, WhiskeyDickerson.com. This is an apparel brand, but it's also a way of life. The folks at Whiskey Dickerson believe government should be small and stay out of the way. They care about the future of our country, the right to keep and bear arms, and they love good whiskey. These values are found in their great designs made right here in St. Louis. You can shop Ultra MAGA, Trump Country, Let's Go Brandon, and now 97.1 FM Talk at WhiskeyDickerson.com. We've partnered with Whiskey Dickerson Outfitters to bring you the 97.1 FM Talk shop. Their Patriot-approved apparel promotes support for law enforcement and free-thinking common sense you can't find anywhere else. If you like your whiskey, your Second Amendment, and St. Louis home for conservative talk, you have to check out Whiskey Dickerson Small Batch Outfitters. That's WhiskeyDickerson.com, WhiskeyDickerson.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
All those missiles aren't making a dent. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That bottom line in so many words from G7 leaders, including President Biden, meeting virtually with Ukraine's president and assuring him they are undeterred by Russia's new missile strikes on Ukraine.
A statement from the G7 says the group will continue to provide financial, humanitarian, military, diplomatic, and legal support to Ukraine. Any just peace, the statement says, must respect the UN Charter's protection of territorial integrity, safeguard Ukraine's ability to defend itself, and ensure Ukraine's recovery and reconstruction, including potentially with funds from Russia and accountability for Russian crimes committed during the war.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. President Biden calls it breakthrough diplomacy as Israel and Lebanon agree to end a long-running dispute over their maritime boundary, though some obstacles remain, including legal challenges. The two countries have been formally at war for decades. President Biden says the agreement comes after months of U.S. mediation. After speaking with both the Israeli Prime Minister and Lebanese President today, he's offering to help resolve any issues that may arise under the deal. Prosecutors in Baltimore apologizing to the family of a young woman murdered and to the man sent to prison for the killing, Adnan Syed, as charges are formally dropped weeks after the conviction was tossed.
Syed exited a Maryland courtroom a free man September 19th after serving more than 2 decades in prison for the 1999 murder of Hae-Min Lee. Syed's case drew international fame from the 2014 podcast Serial, which took a deeper look into a trial that relied on witness testimony and little to no physical evidence. A year-long investigation by prosecutors and Syed's attorney yielding 2 alternative suspects, leading prosecutors to lose faith in the previous guilty verdict.
Fox's Matt Napolitano, the Baltimore City State's attorney, vowing to keep pursuing justice in the case. America is listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just 1 dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Cloudy skies and showers. Could be a rumble of thunder, a flash of lightning as we go through the afternoon. It's breezy, but it is cooler. 72 for the high tonight. Some showers, 59. Wednesday, changeable sky, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Showers in the morning on Wednesday. A few scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm Wednesday afternoon, though not raining all the time. 72. Dry and cool Thursday and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mining for truth in a landscape of BS.
One year, the first test came back with scores in an upside-down bell curve. The students either wrote a nearly perfect exam or missed almost everything. There were very few in the middle.
Mark Reardon.
I asked students each to write an anonymous paragraph about how they had studied for the test. Some of the students who had done poorly said things like, "That's a lot of work."
Your home for conservative talk.
This is what's happening in academia around the country.
97.1 FM Talk.
Well, if you are not sleeping and you find yourself tired throughout the day, sluggish, just not able to focus, I want you to consider wearing what I wear at night.
KFTK FM Florissant. K254CR St. Louis. Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group. 97.1 FM Talk. A radio.com station.
So I want you to consider listening to the ID play randomly first. Then what I want you to do is to consider that you might be going to the wrong sources to get sleep. I'm just picking back up here. So we'll just do this thing the way it is. So this is Ryan Wiggins. I'm talking about Fountains Family Dentistry, of course. And if you are any of those things I just mentioned, lack of focus, I've been wearing one for about 10 years now. And man, I don't know that I'll ever not, because I notice when I don't. And once in a while, if I travel, I forget to take it with me or something like that. I noticed when I'm not wearing my sleep apnea retainer. It's just so easy. I know a lot of people are reluctant because they think, oh, it's going to be annoying. It's not. If you call Fountains Family Dentistry, they'll walk you through the whole process. Just start there. Just don't get overwhelmed by it. Just call them and go, hey, I heard Ryan talking about the sleep apnea retainer. I know it's on my list. I want to talk about how I do that. And they'll say, well, here's how. They'll walk you through insurance, all the different things that it entails. And it's not actually as many as it probably sounds, but they'll walk you through that whole process. So check them out. They're in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Easy to find online, fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. After Halloween, your used jack-o'-lantern and other gourds are great additions to any compost pile. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman. Check out the only agents that I trust at thegelmanteam.com.
The features you always dreamed of are here. We're talking about rewinding the radio. Listen on the Odyssey app and rewind whenever you'd like. Or catch up on entire shows within 24 hours of air.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Truth is, he brought this on himself, and you have to start from that position. He has no intention of stopping. This is going to require continued effort. We've been too slow. When we said we'd provide HIMARS, we provided 4 instead of 40. We didn't provide enough ammunition. Every day that we give Vladimir Putin some idea that we're not prepared to do the things that will deter him. With deterrence, Martha, it's the simple idea. In his head, the cost of continuing this conflict has to be too high for him. It's what we did for 4 years. I talked about 2014. He didn't invade Europe on our watch during the Trump administration. You can say that was just pure luck. I think it was because Vladimir Putin think that the calculus changed when President Biden came in and he saw what happened in Afghanistan.
Mike Pompeo speaking about Vladimir Putin and Russia and what they are doing, what they're not doing yet, when they did it. According to Fox News, Russia targeted Ukraine's infrastructure and people with hours-long barrage signaling escalation from Putin. So is that escalation what is expected? And how far will it go? How bad will it get? Jim Carafano joins us now to talk about it. Vice President for Foreign and Security Policy at the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org. Jim, welcome back to the show. What do you think?
I would call it desperation, not escalation.
Okay.
Because escalation means I'm going to keep doing more. He's doing this because it's the only thing he can do, and it's not going to work. And so, I added up the numbers yesterday, and he spent about $1 billion to blow up a playground and some office buildings. Look, I was just in Ukraine. Ukrainians are not going to stop fighting. Putin does not have an inexhaustible arsenal of weapons. He's taking his most expensive and most lethal weapons, and he's using them to blow up stuff that look, don't get me wrong, I'm not indifferent to civilian deaths and everything, but it's not going to change the course of the war. If anything, it's increasing the resolve of the West to support Ukraine. It's increasing the resolve of Ukrainians to fight. So it's virtually self-defeating. It's much like it was long after Hitler had no chance whatever of invading the United Kingdom. He kept up the Battle of Britain because he was trying to punish the Brits and force them to submit. Well, what happened? The British resolve increased, Western aid and support increased, and Hitler plowed through the Wehrmacht, the Air Force, not the Wehrmacht, the German Air Force, and so when the Russians and the Americans counterattacked, he had nothing to fight with. This is a loser strategy. This is a strategy that counts on the other guy blinking when the other guy is not blinking.
Yeah, and really hasn't. I mean, how long can Putin last with this type of mentality?
I mean, he can continue to do this as long as he's in power, but essentially he's making Russia weaker by the day. That is, you know what it reminds me of? You remember the rope, because you're not old enough. You're just like a baby little girl. There was this famous fight in Manila between George Foreman and Muhammad Ali, and it was called rope it up, where Foreman just kept hitting Ali until he collapsed from exhaustion. I mean, Putin is Foreman. He's beating up somebody he cannot win against, and he's just exhausting himself strategically.
Well, I think that it's very difficult for an average-minded person who doesn't understand the intricacies of the war, but specifically the personalities involved, specifically Vladimir Putin. You see this, that money from the United States is going, to support Ukraine. People question, what is that money being used for? And I look at it, I'm looking for an end game, but these things never have these things never have ends. There's always the next conflict that's coming up. And I'm wondering where you see the United States' role in the status quo that is taking place right now between Russia and Ukraine.
Well, clearly, the military aid is going for a good end. It is helping the Ukrainians defend themselves. The defense of Ukraine is in our interest, is protecting our interests in Europe. There's no corruption or misuse or anything involved with that military aid. Clearly, and if we don't want this to happen again, which we don't, when the fighting stops, Ukraine's going to have to arm itself so it can defend itself in the future. Well, I think there's two big lessons here, which is one is how do you leverage the fact that Ukraine is still standing to improve our interests, our positioning in the world. And the other is we got a very big lesson here. We are literally emptying out our arsenals for this one little fight. And the Europeans are as well. America is a global power with global interests and global responsibilities. We kind of ran the defense dividend for 30 plus years, and we are underpowered militarily for the future. Matter of fact, our big report, the U.S. Index of Military Strength, will be out in a couple of weeks, and it documents this. It's like 500 pages. It's the largest unclassified assessment of U.S. military capability in the world. Matter of fact, the Defense Department doesn't even have a document as comprehensive as our document. We are underpowered, and I know people are worried about. We are spending trillions of dollars in deficit spending on wacko nonsense. We are undermining our energy independence, undermining our economy, everything. We got to stop the silly play game's over. Okay, the Soviet Union was gone 30 years ago. We took a big long vacation, but then we sat around and it's partially our fault that the Chinese and the Russians and the Iranians and the North Koreans are back in the game. We need a dose of peace through strength, and peace through strength came from two things. One was investing in defense, so it's equal to defending the interests of Americans. But the other is we need an economy that can pay to defend ourselves. Because under Ronald Reagan, we stopped doing a lot of silly stuff, and we opened up this economy. And if we don't get back to that kind of, basics, hitting and pitching basics of national security and foreign policy, we are in big trouble, my friend.
Yeah,
we are at the point where we can continue this silliness and let people that we have elected run the government and pretend they know what we're doing, or we can get back to the hard stuff that made us the winner in the Cold War, that bought us a 30-year peace dividend, and get serious about defending having real peace through strength and a real economy and a real border, or we can continue with the nonsense. This is like, I swear to God, this is like people arguing over, what's on the menu when Hannibal Lecter is the guest chef.
Oh. Yeah, just get rid of that whole mission. I want to play for you this Secretary of the Army quote that we played a little bit earlier in the show, but you've served many years in the Army. And I want to know what you hear when the Secretary of the Army speaks this
we
way.
get criticized, frankly, sometimes for being woke. I'm not sure what woke means. I think woke means a lot of different things to different people. But first of all, I would say if woke means, we are not focused on warfighting, we are not focused on readiness, that doesn't reflect what I see at installations all around the country or overseas when I go and visit. But I think, we do have a wide range of soldiers in our Army, and we've got to make them all feel included. And that's why a lot of our diversity, equity, and inclusion programs are important.
So where do you preface the what you just said there about what kind of strength we need to have, peace through strength, and then to hear the Secretary of Army make this comment? It's a very clippable sound bite. Does this frustrate you at all to hear this phrase?
And she's an old friend, but what she just said was a bald-faced lie. I'll tell you what woke is. Woke is a political agenda designed to transform this country in a very demonstrable way. It is not just about being nice and fair to people. So it's not about treating people fairly. That's nonsense. That's not what climate policy is not about protecting us from the climate. It's about political power and purpose-driven change. So one is she's lying when she says, I don't know what it is. And she's lying when she says it's just innocent taking care of people. That's demonstrably false. And she's lying when she says it's not impacting readiness. Look, I was in the Army for 25 years. Anytime you do look, you're only in the military for one reason, 24/7, 365. You are either preparing to fight to defend our interests or you're defending them. There isn't a lot of space for everything else. And any time you take away from preparing to fight and defend this interest and your fellow soldiers and airmen and Marines and spacemen and whatever, whether it's painting rocks or whether it's going to this nonsense class telling you shouldn't call your mother and father, that is a distraction, and at some point it can get people killed. I understand why she's saying this, because this is her government's policies and she's defending her government's policies. But let's all be honest, she's lying to the American people, and it is a problem. And I think, I don't know what concerns me more, the fact that this kind of thing can actually get people killed, or that you're basically lying to the American people and undermining the confidence in civil military relations. I don't think any person who's been following this issue at all would hear that and say, oh, that's just a credible, honest comment. They know she's lying, and they know that you have a public official lying to you. That is not healthy.
Yeah, I think people hear that and it makes you raise your eyebrows. Like, what is the priority of the Army? And it doesn't seem as though at least the party that is in charge right now of making these kinds of decisions, and then you hear comments like this, being the best and the baddest to make sure that our security is priority. It just doesn't seem to be the number one concern.
Yeah, look, I was in the Army for 25 years. You were taught, when you look at another, whatever they are, soldier, you saw a name tag. You didn't see a man or a woman or a black person. You just saw another uniform, and you treated that uniform with respect, and you depended on them because they depended on you. So what you have to do in the military, if you want fair, is just treat people the same. Now, I'm not sure where in there not calling your parents mother and father has anything to do with treating everybody in the military the same. So it's a perversion of this idea that it's just about taking care of people and making them fair. You know what? You get fair inclusive in the military, you join. You've joined the military, you're now included in a band of brothers and sisters that's fighting to defend this country. That's the inclusion you need. This woke is actually teaching people that they're not the same. They're not equal. That some are better than others. That some are more privileged than others. This is the antithesis of everything that you teach military people, everything you do to build military cohesion and confidence.
Couldn't say it better myself. Jim Carafano, thank you so much for your service, but also for your words here each week. We always appreciate you. Look forward to having you back soon.
Yeah, it's kind of a stress reliever for me.
That's good.
Thanks.
Get it all off. We appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. We'll talk to you again next week. Bye-bye. Bye. At JJ Carafano on Twitter. Go say hello to him. That was very well said. You know, even when he says you put on the uniform, that's your identity. The word uniform in and of itself, to make uniform, that is honestly like as inclusive as it can get. And it's important and it should be valued. And our values right now, they're a bit upside down. Let's take a quick break. Exciting guests coming into the Annie Frey Show studio. When we come back, we welcome Regan Deering, the Republican candidate for the Congressional District, Illinois' 13th. My district, I would add. Regan Deering will be in studio here with us. A special guest along with her, Matt Whitaker. He is the former acting United States Attorney General. He's also author of the book Above the Law. We'll talk to him about justice reform and how a Republican majority in the House will help get that done. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow. If you're a fan of 97.1, get a t-shirt. Visit 971talk.com/merch to see all the new t-shirt designs and show your support for St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
If you need to freshen up the inside of your home with a new coat of paint, CertaPro painters can not only help, but they'll knock it out of the park. CertaPro painters have powers well beyond those of ordinary painters, like the power of a cut above, the power of reliability, and the power of neighborhood painters where you live. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, and it's super easy to set up a free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro painters, proven and trusted experts in painting. Head to CertaPro.com today.
HairSaloon.com. You can visit Hair Saloon to see one of the 16 St. Louis area locations where you can go and be treated like a gentleman. You can have an experience that is catered to you, yes, men, so that you can go in and get a reliably perfect haircut each time. You can shop their amazing products. I love the product that my husband uses in his hair from Hair Saloon. First of all, it smells great, which is what I like about it. Plus, it makes him look great. And maybe I'm a bit biased, but Hair Saloon always takes great care of him when he goes in there. We're going to schedule an appointment for my son who's doing the whole grow the hair out thing. We're going to get that trimmed up for him. And I trust that when he goes to Hair Saloon, they're going to take care of him and make sure that he comes out looking fantastic. Like I said, 16 St. Louis area locations, and you can make your appointment online right now for a time convenient for you this week, this weekend, so that you can enjoy the experience of going to Hair Saloon. They have a complimentary beverage to offer you, a relaxing shampoo. They give you a hot towel, a mint, and a complimentary shoe shine. You can find all of this at your local Hair Saloon, hairsaloon.com.
At Diamonds Direct, we're so proud of our value and our selection. But what's most important is our service to you. Our focus has never been to make a sale. It's always about making a friend for life, welcoming you to our family, and taking care of you through all of life's journeys and celebrations. It's why we provide the most transparent education in our industry, helping you make the smartest purchase every time. It's why we offer free cleaning, free sizing, free maintenance for life with any purchase. It's why we're happy to buy your diamond back at a price that's 10% more than you paid us when you're ready to upgrade. It's why, in honor of Bosses Day this weekend, we're honoring you, our most important boss. Come join us this Friday and Saturday, and let us tell you again how much we appreciate you. Take advantage of our free services, and think about taking advantage of that 110% upgrade guarantee before the holiday rush. Diamonds Direct salutes you, our customer, and we thank you always for letting us be a part of your life's biggest moments.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. As autumn temperatures get cooler, here are some simple things you can do to help out the environment. Remove any window air conditioners. Check windows and door seals for proper insulation to keep heat in and cold air out. And check your furnace, making sure it's clean, and replace the air filter with a new one to keep it running at peak efficiency all winter long. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
There's a long black train coming down the line, feeding off the souls that are lost and crying. Rails of sin, only evil remains. Watch out, brother, for that long black train.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
You can find redemption staring back into your eyes. There is protection and there's peace the same. Burning your ticket for that long black train. 'Cause there's victory.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Victory in the Lord. Cling to the Father and His holy name, and don't go riding on that long black train.
Well, we're back here on the Annie Frey Show. I'm very glad that you're with us. A great opportunity for you to tune into the Annie Frey YouTube channel because we've got some very special in-studio guests right now. First, let's welcome to the studio Regan Deering, who is the Republican candidate for the 13th Congressional District in Illinois. That's my district. She is going to be my congresswoman here, elected in about 28 days, I sure hope. Regan, welcome back. It's so great to have you in the studio with us today.
Thanks, Annie. I have enjoyed our conversations to date, so really excited to come across and be in studio with you today.
And you brought some strength behind you because in studio with us as well is Matt Whitaker, the former acting United States Attorney General and author of the book Above the Law. You also host a podcast, Liberty and Justice. Matt Whitaker, thank you so much for being in here today.
I am glad to be here. It's my honor. It's nice to meet you in person. I know I've been on the show before as a phone in, but it's good to be in person.
Well, you know, since I have you both here and in Illinois with all the local candidates, the statewide candidates, now we're talking about some federal candidates, Regan, the Safety Act is the number one issue I hear from voters, from my neighbors who are concerned about the priority of the criminal over the victims of crime in Illinois. And, you know, Regan, when you get to Congress and you are winning a seat that's supposed to lean a little bit Dem, that's why they drew it like a finger that goes through the entire state of Illinois. It's going to be very important that the 13th district is represented by somebody who is proven to care about law and order and want to keep the people of the 13th district safe.
You're absolutely right. Crime is top of mind for so many throughout the 13th district. And at the national level, we need to have our elected officials supporting our law enforcement. Hands down, they are out there putting their lives on the line every single day for our communities. And it's critical to all of us that they know we have their support back here at home, and we will do everything in our power to make sure they're well funded and they're well respected and they're able to do their jobs.
Well, it's very, very key. Matt Whitaker in here with us, like you were the acting attorney general, and you know, watching how justice is doled out in this country right now, it's very concerning to be on the wrong side of the political aisle and know that you could be targeted. Is that what you see?
It is. Oh, no, there's no doubt about that. I mean, not only is really the policies that are being implemented in our major cities a disaster, and this Safety Act is just one of many failed liberal policies. We can predict what's going to happen. There's going to be more victims of crime, and there's going to be more violent crime in our major cities and really ex-urban as well. And so that's concerning, but to your point about the Department of Justice and where this is going federally, it is concerning to see so many conservatives and Republicans targeted by this Department of Justice, and at the same time know that there's this two-tiered system of justice where the left and their cronies are not even investigated.
Yeah, there are certain crimes that are allowed to be committed. It just depends on who the accused is. Regan, I know that we just did a poll, I guess it was yesterday, about what do you hope if the Republicans are to take the House? Right now, Nancy Pelosi is the speaker. We hope to upset that. A lot of people think it's a certainty. Your race, should you win it, is going to indicate that it's a strong Republican year. Yes. And I have strong hopes for that. I think you're going to win. I am confident in that, but people need to support you. Go to reganforcongress.com, REGAN, reganforcongress.com to learn more about Regan. Once you get there, though, people are going to want to see action. You can't say all the things in a campaign, get elected, get in office, get the majority, and do what a lot of Republican voters fear will happen. You get the power and you don't use it. What are you going to do when you get there?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Congressional approval rating is pretty low right now, worse than the president. So we do need elected officials that have that direct line of communication with their constituents. And the Republicans' commitment to America, which was rolled out just recently, has 4 really strong pillars that put the people first. And one of those is, in fact, government accountability. So you're absolutely right. We have a job to do. The people that send us there have high expectations, and we definitely need to hold the Biden administration accountable for a lot of these policies that are, in fact, hurting everyday Americans in our communities. So I don't intend to just walk the walk, but when we get there, we do need to definitely have some rulemaking and some policy and some funding that's coming back to our districts that knows we are working for them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Thank you. That's Regan Deering, ReganForCongress.com if you want to learn more. Matt Whitaker in studio with us as well. You served as the acting attorney general under President Trump, and you certainly saw a lot of investigations take place in the House, a lot of hearings, a lot of guarantees from people like Adam Schiff that once you know what he knows, we'll all understand everything. Yeah. We're waiting, Representative Schiff. You never delivered on that. It was a political witch hunt. How does what a Republican majority in the House of Representatives, should they be given that responsibility after this election, effectively use that power and authority to investigate and to hold hearings in a meaningful way for the American people, not for just a political party?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think with somebody like Regan in Congress, we're going to have meaningful oversight. You know, many of your listeners probably remember when I went in front of the House Judiciary Committee and famously told the chairman, Jerry Nadler, that his 5 minutes were up. And, I think people want that level of attention that the left was giving us at the time after, they'd finally taken Congress back over and they felt the Trump administration had gone awry. We want the same level of attention on this Biden administration. I mean, there's so many, you can really, these hearings write themselves, right? I mean, the border and oversight of the failed policies at the border could be a full-time congressional endeavor. But there's so many other things that they're going to have to work on, including, oversight of the Federal Reserve. I mean, that's another area that I think this Federal Reserve is, causing a lot of pain to the American people, and they're feeling it. And they, the Fed chairman needs to come and explain why their policies are actually going to make our lives better. So I know it's not possible, but I would love to see a little oversight of the St. Louis Cardinals and that, what just happened, because, there's a better team than the way they finished. So, I'm a huge Cards fan.
Yes, we love
and
that.
I'm not above pandering to, to my friends in St. Louis and commiserating with them.
We're in mourning with that right now.
So am I.
I just said at the beginning of the show, yesterday, I didn't talk about it all because it's too soon. It's actually still too soon, but I did say that the silver lining that I'm taking from this is that I can focus solely on October for the crazy, silly season month that it is in an election season, to be able to pay more attention and not have the extra anxiety of a playoff. But I would still rather have the anxiety of a playoff. Regan, there are lots of things that people want to see investigated. People want to see the Biden administration investigated. They want to see Hunter Biden investigated. I've talked on this show about how I would like them to hold hearings about Mayorkas and his abdication of his responsibilities on the southern border. He has a duty to do. He's not doing it. Are you interested in being a strong part of those investigations, or in supporting the Republican majority into finding out who's really responsible for what, who's not doing it, and when it even gets more nefarious than that, being able to call it out?
Yeah, I think we have to have strong voices in Washington. The people have a great opportunity this November, especially in the 13th Congressional District, to send someone to D.C. that is going to make sure we are having that government accountability. There are way too many disastrous policies coming out, and we do have a two-tier justice system. I mean, before entering this race, I felt a little bit of that pinch. I mean, I was speaking up at my school board meetings, and now all of a sudden I was being called a potential domestic terrorist for just questioning the government overreach that was happening in my local public school building. So I do know that people are feeling, the unnecessary overburden of government, and we want to get back to working for them. So we do have to find some balance in that accountability for sure. I know that there are a lot of people really frustrated, and that's a top of mind priority. But we also have a lot of people really hurting when it comes to record high inflation and crime and a wide open border. So we need to make sure that we're balancing that accountability with good legislation for the people too.
Regan Deering in studio with us right now, running for the 13th district in Illinois. That district, the number 13, used to be Rodney Davis's district, but then with the redistricting, he got redistricted out of that. Regan has won the primary there and has worked really hard to get to where she is right now and made a district that was drawn specifically for a J.B. Pritzker, Joe Biden Democrat, to take the people of Illinois and appropriate them and make them their own. Well, I'm one of those people, and I don't appreciate that. Regan, I'll ask you this. As far as redistricting goes, the state of Illinois, like if you want to know what the test kitchen of what Democrats can get away with, it's in Illinois. Everybody pays attention to New York and California, but they run things through Illinois to try to make them happen to see if they can work on a larger scale. What can you do as a congresswoman to help get some common sense back to the very good, normal, moderate people across the board of Illinois?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This 13th district received an F- in gerrymandering, so it's no surprise. We actually had the map held up in court all the way till December. So that's why we had a June primary instead of March. And I feel like, despite the terrible gerrymandering and the Democrats handpicking Nikki Budzinski to come here from Washington and represent the people of Central Illinois. We've met great people on the trail that know that I live here. This matters to me, too. I'm a resident of Central Illinois, and policies and decisions are going to affect my family as well. So I am a political outsider. I don't have the experience working for Governor Pritzker or working for for President Biden, but I've worked for my community. And I think that's the difference maker when being out on the trail and knowing that people are looking for someone that can feel their same concerns, is showing up and shopping at their grocery stores, is paying rent, is being a small business owner, and knows what those burdens feel like. And that's my message to the voters, is that in earning their support and sending me to Congress, I am going to work for you.
I love to hear that. Matt Whitaker in with us, the former acting United States Attorney General. You can look at all of Congress and maybe D.C. and no offense, but it's full of lawyers. Yeah. And I'm not smart enough to be a lawyer.
No offense taken.
None of taken. No,
it's just you live in a country that was created by lawyers, but never mind that.
No, it's okay. I mean, there's it's got its positives and a few of the negatives, but we couldn't be anywhere without the lawyers, the people, the lawmakers that create these laws. But it almost becomes punitive to people who aren't part of the system. Yeah. To help be in charge of the system, which is really what we need. So with a Regan Deering running in the 13th to go to Washington, D.C., do you think it's a good thing to have fresh minds that are...
I think it's a great thing. And I'm here today campaigning with her to make sure that for sure my conservative and Republican friends know that Regan's the real deal and know that, there's two kinds of members of Congress. You have show horses and you have workhorses. And I know that Regan's going to be a workhorse. And the other thing is, and I say this all the time as I travel around the country, talking about how we take our country back. And that is that, she's not going to Washington, D.C. to be somebody. She's going there to do something, to represent her fellow citizens. And it's so important. We think about how detached from the real world these members of Congress are. I can tell you that Regan is attached to this district, is from this district, and just knows the heartbeat of Illinois 13. And that's why I'm so proud to be with her today. Spend a lot of time, seeing the great folks in Illinois and making sure they understand that they have a real chance to send just a true warrior for, our values to Washington, D.C.
It's really important for Illinois voters to hear, and I say this has been my mantra for the last 2 months, is that it really doesn't have to be this way. Yeah, there's a lot of people who live in the state of Illinois who have grown accustomed to words like corruption and, wondering is it ever going to get better? Well, you kind of quit wondering. You just assume that you're going to be there until it gets so bad that you just get in the next U-Haul and move to Missouri or move to Florida or Texas or somewhere that still has kind of that liberty-loving atmosphere. Regan, do you think that this could be the election cycle where Illinois gets to taste freedom and liberty once again, like our red state friends in Missouri live every day? Iowa. I mean, really,
Indiana.
We're surrounded by them in Illinois.
Yeah.
Is this the one where maybe we get a shot?
This is the best opportunity we have, no doubt about it, despite all the tricks and the gerrymandering and the supermajorities. I mean, I have met so many wonderful candidates on the trail that are standing in that gap this year and really knowing this matters to us because we are families here. We want to stay here. We own businesses here. We don't want to pack up and get out of here. I mean, we are seeing corporations leave Illinois by the numbers every single day, and we want to take that opportunity to really stand a chance for Illinois. I mean, at the federal level, my seat is a great opportunity to make sure that those conservative values, which are being labeled as extreme, are not silenced any longer. And I know that, at the state races, we've got great candidates running up and down the ticket here in the southern part of the district. We've got some really wonderful first-time candidates as well. And this is what government is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about leaving your regular life, going to the capitals and making sure that you're advocating for your communities and your values. And then you turn around and you let the next person do it. We need that rotation. We need the overturning. We have way too many members of Congress on both sides of the aisle that have been in office entirely too long. So this is the year that Americans can stand up and have a voice. And this is the year that we need to get to the ballot box and send a very clear message that we're going to put some checks and balances on this one-party Democratic rule in Washington. And we got to vote in great regular candidates like me.
We have somebody who commented on our YouTube channel, Art. He asked me if I've reached out to Nikki Budzinski about coming on the show. I haven't, but Brad, you can do that right after the show.
I can absolutely do that.
I'll clear my schedule for you, Nikki. Come on the show. I'd love to talk to you in front of everybody who you were trying to win a vote for. I think we could have a good conversation. Let's do that. Before we let you go, Matt Whitaker, you're supporting Regan Deering. You are working to get her elected. You see value in this seat. Give me your experience in politics this election cycle.
Yeah.
What do you feel is coming? And if people are listening right now, how do they be a part of something big now before Election Day gets here to make sure that we leave it all on the field?
Well, we need to show up. We need, I go around this country, and I was, I've been in Missouri 2 times recently. One was to watch the Cardinals sweep the Yankees in a better time.
Thank you.
And then I was also here supporting my friend Eric Schmidt in the primary to help him win. And, I just came from Phoenix where I was helping some candidates down there. I was in Australia at CPAC a week ago. I've just been all over the world, quite frankly, talking about how everyone needs to do more than they've ever done. Our backs are against the wall. This feels like a dark time in American history, and really it can go one of 2 directions. It can go more towards what the state of Illinois has become, quite frankly, and California and New York, and it can go off a cliff, and we can have higher taxes, lower quality of life, higher crime, or we can look to places like Iowa, my home state, and others that have implemented, Florida, Texas, these conservative values, the things that we live and believe, and they've implemented those policies, and the people are flourishing. So that's the choice. That's why I'm here supporting Regan and her campaign, and I just feel like we have to get on board. It's one thing, Eric Schmidt is running a great campaign in Missouri. He's going to win. He's going to be our next senator, but he needs allies, and we need to take the majorities in both the House and the Senate, and it's races like Regan's that we need to make sure that we're fully supporting and getting on board and pushing her over the finish line as well.
Yeah, it's what makes the difference. And folks, you can be a part of that. You actually have to be a part of that. If you listen to this show and you hear us complaining about things, I'm sorry, daily, and you are like, this is really frustrating to consume every day, you have an opportunity to be a part of a solution. It starts by going to reganforcongress.com, learning more about Regan, and then figuring out whether it's your time or your talent, how you use what you have to offer to help make Illinois' 13th district a better place. Nikki Budzinski would not be the best thing for the district. Regan would be. So please support her. Regan, thank you for being in here today. Is there anything else you want to ask of people before we're 4 weeks out right now?
Yeah, I really do appreciate Matt joining me here today and helping me spread that message that there is no time like the present. We have got to make a change in this country, and it starts by electing representatives and local officials all the way up and down the ballot that are going to advocate for you and your conservative values, are going to go and work for you. We're not going to agree on everything, but overall, I think that people need to know about me, that I live here and I work here. I'm very pragmatic. I want to make sure that we are all finding success. So if you would like to join our team, our website has an opportunity to volunteer. We're looking for door knockers. We're looking for phone bankers. We're looking for people to show up and have coffees in their homes. I mean, this conversation this year is really about who is going to do the best work for Central Illinois. And I feel like that's me. So I'd really love to earn your support and love your help in getting across the finish line in November.
ReganForCongress.com. Matt Whitaker, thank you for your time today. We appreciate you being in here.
Thanks, Annie.
A good reminder that you're a St. Louis Cardinals fan, and we can just all kind of spend some time together feeling sad. But I guess there's always spring. You can check out his podcast. It is called Liberty and Justice. You can also check out his book, Above the Law. A good read. Let's take a quick break. Matt Whitaker, Regan Deering, thank you so much. If you folks missed this, check out our podcast. We'll be back in just a minute with more Annie Frey Show.
Making you wonder if the ride is worth the pain.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
On your heart to say.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
On that long black train. But you know there's victory.
What's bringing you out of political retirement here, Dennis Hancock?
I've known Tim Fitch for 20 plus years. When I heard that he was drawn out of the district, I took it as a sign that maybe it was time for me to get back into it.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Congress has authorized trillions in new spending, along with doubling the size of the IRS agency in just the last few months. Do you think that is by accident? No, it is with a purpose, to go after small businesses, employees, and individuals who have not filed or paid their taxes. If this is you, don't panic, just call. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee, which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Clement Auto Group is hosting another trunk or treat for the kiddos.
We're inviting all the listeners to bring their kids, the dogs, and trunk or treat with us on Saturday, October 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m.
Music, game, prizes, and most of all,
lots of candy for your kids.
Come out Saturday, October 22nd to Clement Pre-Owned in Florissant.
Odyssey celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month and the trailblazers who made their mark worldwide. Born Andres Arturo Garcia Menendez, but you know him as actor Andy Garcia. Andy was only 5 years old when he fled to the United States with his family from Cuba. Andy Garcia's career took off after his role in 8 Million Ways to Die and The Godfather Part 3. Andy Garcia was nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his role in The Godfather Part 3. More on the Odyssey app. And celebrate the sounds and stories of Hispanic heritage at odyssey.com/HHM.
So when you're looking to buy or sell in Illinois, your home, you have a whole host of people who you can choose. But I want to talk to you about my friend Jen Teskey and tell you why I think she should earn your business to list your home. First of all, she has a bunch of buyers waiting for the right home to come along. Maybe that's your house. Maybe you have thought about selling and you're not 100% sure yet if you're ready to do it. You don't know what you could get for it. Reach out to Jen Teskey. You can call her or text her at 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. And when you reach out to her, whether you know you want to sell or you're thinking about selling in the future, or you think we're going to sell in a year or 6 months or 9 months, talk to her now and she can assess your situation to help set you up to have the best sale when that time comes. She has an amazing staff that works all the time and making sure that you are positioned in the best possible way to sell your home for top dollar. And when I see the listings that she shares on her Facebook page, where you can go connect to her Jen Teskey Facebook page with RE/MAX Alliance, she has some beautiful homes listed right now as well if you're looking to buy. 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gsLhonorflight.org, and for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
We didn't mention this. I don't know if this got mentioned in that interview we just did with Regan Deering. She was in studio here with Matt Whitaker. Matt Whitaker is the former acting attorney general under Donald Trump, and Regan Deering is the person running for the 13th district in the state of Illinois. It's supposed to be a blue district, but I don't think it's going to be. And you're going to be a part of that, a part of the reason why that's going to go red the way it should. Yet another endorsement from the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police endorsing Regan Deering. It's case after case after case of law enforcement saying we can't move forward with what the Democrats are setting up for us to move forward with. Endorsements don't really tend to mean a ton for me. Like, I'm kind of big on, I can make my own decision. I don't need somebody to be like, I'm voting for this person. Then I go, well, then I'm going to do that too. Like, that's not really how it works. But Brad, would you say that when you see consistently that the police are backing consistently Republican candidates, that says something?
It says a lot. It says who supports law and order. It says who has been supporting the law enforcement organizations. And I know, like, as of late, the Democrats have been trying to say that Republicans are not for law and order and they're trying to defund. And it couldn't be more opposite. And the police officers know that. The everyday police officer on the street knows exactly who's behind them and who has their back and who's trying to make sure that they have everything that they need to properly do their job. And then who will help them enforce their job once they take the criminal off the street. That criminal should get prosecuted.
There's so many things that we agree upon as people, not as voters, but as people, that we can identify problems together and say this needs to be rectified. I would say that we need to do a better job as a community and have worked to do so, but we need to do a better job as a culture, as a community, to identify impoverished areas and work to provide opportunity in those areas in order to work to lift those people into circumstances that might provide them a greater opportunity than the circular nature of generation after generation after generation being raised in impoverished conditions. Now, a lot of times that will be with people of color, but there are certainly impoverished white areas. There are both of them in the St. Louis metro area where poverty strikes a specific place and then it just becomes the cycle. And regularly, those places are run by Democrats who I am talking to these people specifically. I've talked to Democrats who have identified these problems in local areas around the city of St. Louis, who say that the Democrats, the way that they use their position for their own personal benefit, and the only time they campaign is right before election happens. They don't show up. They don't do the things they need to do until they need something from the people. Well, that's as perverted as it can possibly be. The purpose of serving in these positions is to be of service to the people who you represent. And it turns out to be this inverted relationship where the people actually serve the elected official every 2 years or every 4 years to make sure that they retain that power. We need to be able to identify these places, Republican or Democrat, and say something has to change here. And we need to be willing to face the uncomfortable conversations that surround consistencies that exist for impoverished people, for the people of color, where we have instances of impoverished neighborhoods of people of color, and work with them to help them, not work in place of them to say, well, we'll give you X, Y, and Z, but you got to make sure you keep putting us in office, and then we'll keep providing you what you have. What do you have? I don't know what breaks that cycle. It seemed to me like Donald Trump was onto something with his opportunity zones, and he had people of different walks of life invested in that. But it was Trump, so nobody wanted to listen to it, because if Trump said it, it was bad. It's just one of the many things that president did for our country that he never got credit for, because people were so preoccupied with hating the man and not paying attention to anything that he did. Stick around, more Annie Frey Show in just a minute. Don't go away.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to GetRefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at ChrisBuysHomesSt.Louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to ChrisBuysHomesInSt.Louis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Chris Buys Homes in St. or call 314-782-8000.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A prosecutor in Maryland apologizing to both sides. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
This morning, I instructed my office to dismiss
the criminal case against Adnan Syed.
He's the man whose conviction in a 1999 murder was recently overturned after being featured in a podcast. Now Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby announcing he will not be retried after DNA tests on items not tested before excluded him. But she is vowing to keep pursuing justice for the victim's family. Outrage at a city council meeting in L.A. after leaked recordings of racist remarks led to a partial resignation.
Protesters shout for Los Angeles City Council members Kevin De Leon, Gil Cedillo, and former council president Nuri Martinez to resign. Martinez, who stepped down as president, announcing a leave of absence, heard in a 2021 recording making racist comments about indigenous immigrants and Councilman Mike Bonin's adopted son, who is black. Speaking to De Leon, Cedillo, and LA County Federation of Labor President Ron Herrera all apologized. Herrera resigned.
These words, they cut and they stung.
An emotional Councilman Bonin.
First, you must resign.
Also calling for them to step down.
Fox's Christian Goodwin. Russia's war in Ukraine and the rocky global economy could put a strain on U.S. relations with Saudi Arabia after OPEC's oil production cut President Biden open to a review.
To take a look to see if that relationship is where it needs to be and that it is serving our national security interests.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby. Success for NASA, just announcing its Save the World test worked, smashing into an asteroid to nudge it out of the way. They were hoping to alter the asteroid's orbit by 10 minutes. Instead, the change was about 32 minutes. America is listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
When cold symptoms keep you up, try Vicks NyQuil Severe for max strength nighttime relief. Just one dose of Vicks NyQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Get some rest and feel better with Vicks NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, sore throat, stuffy nose, fever, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Cloudy skies and showers. Could be a rumble of thunder, a flash of lightning as we go through the afternoon. It's breezy, but it is cooler. 72 for the high. Tonight, some showers, 59. Wednesday, changeable sky, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Showers in the morning on Wednesday. A few scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm Wednesday afternoon, though not raining all the time. 72. Dry and cool Thursday and Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stay connected to everything happening in the world, the country, and the community.
Just look at this. What is the top issue among likely voters, those likely to turn out 33 days from now? The economy and inflation overwhelmingly.
Your home for conservative talk.
The Fed is going to raise rates. That's going to be perilous for the economy. There's nothing much else they can do because they waited 15 months while they lied to us about how transitory inflation was.
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about a Govix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Sell your car the easy way at Bomarito. No matter what kind of vehicle you have or what shape it's in, car, truck, van, or SUV, just go to Bomarito.com. Answer a few questions about your vehicle, and we'll give you an instant real purchase offer. Then we'll come to you, or you come to us, and we'll pay you on the spot. So when you're ready to sell your vehicle, go to Bomarito first. A better experience, a better price, better service. The automotive leader, Bomarito, Missouri's #1 automotive group, open 24/7 at Bomarito.com.
Fun in the sun is no fun at all without sunscreen. Just like reapplying sunscreen helps continue protection against the sun, a booster shot can help enhance protection against COVID-19 after a primary series vaccination. Schedule a booster appointment when eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
97.1 and thousands of music options, plus millions of podcasts are all on the free Odyssey app. Download the app or tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 and it comes up automatically. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I get pulled over a lot because I have California plates on my car, and people in Texas don't like that. And sheriffs in Texas hate it. And I've never gotten one ticket. I've been pulled over like 4 or 5 times. I've never gotten one ticket because I know exactly what to say to a sheriff in Texas. And when they pull you over, they don't even ask for your license and registration. They just start talking. It's terrifying. Like one guy pulled me over. He goes, "California, huh? What are you and all your friends doing here?" But that's when I know exactly what to do. I get aggressive. I hang out of the window. I'm like, "You know what I'm doing here? You know what I'm doing here, sir? I'm a little sick of liberals. Can I speak freely?" And he goes, "Yes, you can." I go, "I may say some things that are politically incorrect." He goes, "The floor is yours."
It's Tom Dillon. That's funny. I just came across that on watching YouTube, on YouTube Shorts. Are you familiar with him?
I know the name. I don't know his work very well.
Did
though.
you?
A little bit.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah.
And I thought that could fly in Illinois and Missouri, like right here. You come flying into Missouri, and they're like, "We know why you're driving fast. You gotta get the hell out of there." I thought that was funny. Isn't it funny to hear comedy that's about conservatism and liberalism, and it's genuinely funny?
It's not making fun of it either.
If you were a liberal with a sense of humor, that should still be funny.
I didn't know who that was, and so knowing you, I was like, well, this will probably end up being something conservative, but I was waiting because I'm like, well, this is a comedian. Maybe you had an alternate point you were going to make. I was waiting for the turn. Oh, when's he going to start making fun of conservatives? Because you can hear it coming, and he didn't. It was refreshing.
And it was still funny.
It was still funny. It was just funny.
You've made that point before, Ryan, about how when people go to make Christian movies or movies that are like, the point is that there's a good Christian story to it. That it all of a sudden tastes like off-brand.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you're watching, you're like, it's good for a Christian movie.
Yes.
And it's not an epic film that you go and you're like, oh, this kind of has a Christian undertone to it. I didn't know that. And it still feels feature film. Remember, I say this and I can't really like follow through on this comment too much, but do you remember the film Noah with Russell Crowe?
Yeah.
It was horrible.
That was an abomination.
It was a big budget movie, though.
It was a huge budget movie, and it wasn't really Christian.
There's a lot of apocrypha in there.
They took a lot of liberties.
Not even the apocrypha, but apocryphal.
Yes, lowercase a.
Yeah.
It's good to hear humor that is conservative, and it's just funny. Gutfeld has proven that you can do that. It's good to see a movie that has a conservative feel, or just not even like conservative or Christian, but wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like to have it be okay that it's wholesome. I watched The Greatest Showman Sunday night with my family. Who's seen it? Anybody?
I don't. My kids love the soundtrack. Does that count?
I don't do.
I mean,
musicals.
it doesn't not count. I haven't got my scorecard out yet. What? No,
I don't do musicals.
Why?
I don't
like
either.
musicals.
Mr. Wonderful, that's one of his favorite movies.
It is such a good movie. And there is nothing, I mean, my 6-year-old loves The Greatest Showman and the music and can sing all of it. And there's nothing about it that I see that I'm like, all right, kids, let's talk about this, or cover your ears or or cover your eyes. It's not like that. And I think it was kind of panned a little. It was a big success in the theaters,
Yeah.
I think.
I think it was very successful.
I think going into it, there was questions as to whether or not it was going. Like, I don't know that there was as much faith before it launched, and then it did become a huge success. But I've come to realize that I love that I can just put that movie on and just enjoy it. There's no heavy lifting that goes along with it. There's no qualification I need to make to my children to watch it with them. We can all watch it together. It is incredibly entertaining. It is beautifully done, beautifully directed, beautiful music, beautiful story. It's just good.
That's how I feel about Top Gun Maverick.
Yes. Same thing, different details.
Yeah.
Probably not for kids, right?
Probably not for kids.
I wouldn't.
It's okay?
My husband said to me when we were watching some of the credits and stuff at the end to see, because sometimes they throw little things in afterwards or whatever. He goes, I think we could take the kids to that. We weren't sure if our 6-year-old would enjoy it.
Right.
Because it's about
not aimed at her.
But we thought the story was fantastic. And there wasn't anything that was put in it that was like meant to go in there to like push this to where kids couldn't enjoy it. It was just a fantastic story.
Yeah, there's not one scene that I think of that I'm like, ooh, I don't really know if kids should watch that. And also to have a movie come out in 2022 in such the climate that we're in, that's not political. It was great. It was like a breath of fresh air.
Or not dirty at all, because what you guys are talking about to me is something that I've thought a lot about. And I'm glad you're bringing up movies that don't fall into this category, because my concern is that we're getting to a place where, and I'm just speaking off the cuff here.
Unlike the normal segments where we write them
I'm
all
full
out
planned.
ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right. He has a
And then I
script
say
in
this,
front
then
of
you
him.
say this.
And then we do our thing.
This is something very close to me, and that's why I'm very passionate about this. That I'm concerned that we're moving into a place in this society where the only clean things that exist are Christian things. And that's not necessarily, it used to be that you had this middle category. You had the stuff that kids shouldn't watch that. And you had this middle category that was just fine. Nobody cared. It was fine. You didn't have to worry about it. And then you had Christian stuff that was way over here. Now it's as if we're getting to a place, and you guys are saying movies that aren't like this, so you're proving me wrong, which I'm glad about. That I don't want to get to a place where the only thing that's safe for your kids to watch, if you're just going to turn it on, you haven't seen it, you haven't read a review of it, you're just going to turn it on, whether it's music, movies, whatever, that it has to be Christian. Otherwise, I can't trust it. I don't want to be in that place. I want to be in a place where you can turn certain things on and not worry about them.
Do you trust movie and television ratings anymore?
No, not at all.
Me
because
either.
they might have an agenda that's beyond just the
right.
rating.
It's not even like sex scenes that you're worried about. It's political agendas.
Yeah.
Almost more.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel about polls, Ryan.
You got to do the work. You got to do the work, and then you find some gold in there.
Clip the place where he just talked about movie ratings, and then just say polls instead of movie ratings, and I'm like, we're there together.
No,
go ahead.
Well, and just in talking about comedy and Gutfeld and some of these things, I don't like the idea that we're in a place where you have to write comedy that is either liberal or conservative. I wish comedy could be comedy and allow it to breathe, because when I write, I can't stand the idea that I have to put an agenda in it for it to work. That is a terrible place to write from.
I don't actually think that putting an agenda in it does work. I think that's what breaks it. And that's why none of the late night TV shows that have not committed to it, they've given up and into it. You go there not to laugh and to exhale and to relax. It's like a shot in the arm for who do we hate, and let's all remind each other who's good and who's bad. You get your, how long are those shows? Are they an hour?
Hour and a half, aren't they?
Too long.
Too long, too many. You go there and you get it. Some people do that. You could sit and watch Fox News all day. That could be the shot in the arm for you in that way. Watching a new cable news channel all day long is different than trying to tune into a late night comedy show until it's not, because there's actually more doing that than are doing what Gutfeld is doing.
Yes.
You know, and it's not just like late night comedy. There's always an agenda. I mean, I was trying to watch the new Lord of the Rings series, and there's an agenda in that.
You recommend it?
No. It's bad.
The agenda or the series?
The series. It's bad. It's boring. I usually give stuff three episodes to catch me and get me going. If you don't get me in 3 episodes, I'm like, all right, I'll move on. But this one was like almost like watching a train wreck. It was like, I don't know how something could look so simultaneously well-produced and horribly produced at the same time. Like, it looks like a big-budget movie done very poorly. But then whenever you look at all the characters and stuff like that, there's this agenda of making men look stupid and bumbling. So you've got one competent male character in the whole series right now who is probably going to end up being the big bad guy. You've got, and then everything else is just the agenda, old people don't know much and you got to throw their away. You got to listen to the kids more, disobey your parents, all of these other things that are just in there. And that's not what Tolkien was, but people took it over and now they're making it into their own thing so that they can get their message out.
Did you guys watch WandaVision?
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
I did.
Did you like it?
That is totally like not what I usually watch. So I was kind of confused. I didn't know any of the backstory. So I just thought it was weird, but I don't know.
If you know the backstory, it's still weird. You got to get into it.
Yeah.
But that one, that series definitely took 3 episodes to go, okay, now I got my footing. But you do need the first 2 episodes in order to properly set the stage. But I thought it was a fantastic series. I would go back and watch that series again. The whole, I don't speak the language, the MCU, that there were phases and everything. But up until Endgame, they did a fantastic job of just telling amazing stories in absolutely fantastic ways. And then from there, a hard rip of the steering wheel into a left turn. And I just am repulsed by all of it. And I have chosen not to watch any of it because I don't want it to taint what I understand about that first part of the Avengers series, the MCU, that I really, really think is fantastic.
Right. I agree with that 100% because that's where I'm at. As far as I'm concerned, the MCU ended with Endgame.
Yeah.
Because it has end in the title. It's done. That's a nice, good, complete story. I watch TV shows. I play video games for the most part. If you get me a good story, I'll sit through bad production for a good story. I'll sit through bad gameplay for a good story. If you give me a good story, I'm there. I love a great story. That's why I read Life of Human. Great story.
Exactly.
No, I'm serious though.
That would be Ryan Wiggins' book, which you can probably get on Amazon.
But the story sucked me in.
Life of Human.
And I liked it.
I've met my
even though there's some
contractual
spelling
obligation.
We're at a topic right now that I'm like, should I start a podcast on this? Because I could go forever talking about writing, and not just popular writing, but just the art of writing and the way you approach it. And it's so sad to me. It's just to conclude. It's so sad to see what comedy has become because they approach it agenda first instead of comedy first. And it's so, it just frustrates me because it's not pure anymore. It's lost its purity.
Brian says Disney obviously now needs to make a female counter-hero to all the male superheroes. I guess about She-Hulk is what he's referring to. Did anybody hear? I don't know if I've talked about this before on the air. Has anybody watched West Wing?
No.
No.
Have I brought that up recently?
I don't think so.
I don't know if that was. I love that show. And my husband and I watched it in, I think it was 2015-ish, because it was when we watched it in 2 different houses. It was when we moved. And it was just dripping with 90s fashion. So you're watching it and you're like kind of pushing through that. But once you get used to it, it's great. I would watch that series again. It's amazing. But at one point, the president, Martin Sheen, that's the right one, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Not Charlie.
Not Charlie. Winning.
Martin Sheen.
Tiger's blood.
Yeah. Is a Democrat. He's not presented in like super left, but everything they talk about is when it's policy. But you're not watching it because you support the policy. You like the process. They hire this young blonde lawyer into the administration, the Democrat administration, and she is a Republican. And they hire her in to the group to challenge their ideas, to make their ideas and their presentations and their policies better. They say, let's get ourselves a smart Republican person in the conversation so that, in their instance, it's like we can listen to her criticisms of them. We can have this as a private conversation and help refine what we're doing. And, the implication is that it would kind of make stuff more bipartisan, but, mostly it's just fortifying and insulating what you're going to do publicly, politically, by having this Republican person in there. So they hire her and they relegate her to the basement and they don't really take her seriously, but she starts to make some good points and she starts to infiltrate and she starts to have an impact in a positive way for the administration. I want to do that for Disney. I want to go into the Disney world and say, you need somebody who thinks differently than you do, because there is a whole, politics and business, very different and very similar at the same time. But they're so saturated in their own self-virtue loving atmosphere that they don't have reasonable people saying, why are you doing this? I understand the direction you're headed in, and I understand what you're trying to convey, but you really have to understand that where you're going with and how you're doing it is not the most effective way to reach the most people, to make a point that not everybody's going to agree with, and to not do it in a way that punches people in the face that may not live the same lifestyle that you are particularly targeting towards right here. And I think that in a huge company like Disney and in small companies and businesses and nonprofits, there is such a small amount of willingness to bring everybody in, knowing that you're never going to make a joke that everybody thinks is funny. Because if everybody is going to think it's funny every single time, then there's probably not enough edge to it to really make people do the gut laugh. But if you don't have somebody on Gutfeld who's from the left working in the system to keep you honest, you're gonna have blind spots that you don't see, and it's gonna make you weaker. If you're on Colbert, or if you're on Jimmy Kimmel, or if you're Trevor Noah's gone, right? He quit or got fired or something.
I don't know if he's gone yet, but yeah.
These people, it makes me wonder if they've ever even met a conservative, because what they allude that I am or that we are is ridiculous.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the assumption and the arrogance with which comedy, entertainment, with the stuff that Disney puts out and the way they put it out, the arrogance that comes from how they push it out into the entertainment world shows me that they haven't considered that there are a lot of people out there who are going to think differently about that.
And it's easy to argue against too, then. Like you said, it's a blind spot. They're not doing a very good job. If they're trying to make political points, they're not doing a very good job of it. Comedy typically does make a caricature out of somebody or something. So I get that. But there's no, after the joke, it used to be, I made a joke about you, good nature, just ribbing you.
Well, yeah.
But that's gone.
Yeah.
It's angry.
Yeah. It's malicious. It's
trying to make a political point more than a joke.
A caricature is okay, haha, funny. What they're doing is exaggerating stuff to make people look bad, not just to poke a little fun.
Let's take a quick break. We're reading your comments, and this is an active YouTube live chat today. Got Brad and Hannah on their toes here.
Full-time job.
Join us and vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. Let's talk about that when we come back. Brad, I know Brad has a distinctive opinion on this. I do as well. We haven't discussed it yet. We'll find out what Ryan thinks. Also, in the YouTube live chat poll, would you support Tulsi Gabbard for president? She just announced she's left the Democratic Party. Go vote. Leave us a comment. We'll be back in a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
And I sit down at a table set for two. And finally I'm forced to face the truth.
97.1 is St. Louis's radio destination for information with perspective. It's where St. Louis and beyond comes to talk. Right here, right now. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Generationally speaking, there are very different understandings of what it means to go to the dentist. Foley Dental Group is the dentist for the Frey family. And if you go visit Foley Dental Group, you'll quickly understand why we are so happy to make them our dental care provider. I want to talk to you about Invisalign, which you can go to Foley Dental Group and get that experience there. It's not just about straight teeth. You will get straight teeth with Invisalign, but they want to make sure that your bite is a functional bite. There's so much more that is to clean teeth or straight teeth. There is a whole health approach that comes along with your regular dental checkup. And Foley Dental Group has proven time and time again that the very best care when it comes to dental care is right there at Foley Dental Group. They have a brand new location, a brand new building. It is beautiful. It is waiting for you to make your appointment, and they are taking new patients now. The Frey family, all of us, go to Foley Dental Group, and I would encourage you to give them the opportunity to earn your clientele as well. 618-288-9670. That's 618-288-9670. FoleyDentalGroup.com.
What's up, everybody? Guess who's hosting a new podcast? No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith. Listen as I pull back the curtain on everything beyond the world of sports, interviewing influential guests, outspoken celebrities, and thought leaders across the political, financial, and social spectrum. You know me, I'll give you my unbiased opinion. A No Mercy episode drops every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith, a presentation of Cadence 13 and Odyssey Studio, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you listen to your podcast.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet, and the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed. I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. Cowboy boots, running shoes, walking shoes, flat shoes, heels. Makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here. It's one in, one out.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans, who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents, and above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now, I believe in a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues are taking our country, then I invite you to join me.
So, Ryan, I'll give you the opportunity to answer this first. Our YouTube live chat poll today is, would you support Tulsi Gabbard for president, yes or no? What do you think?
Under the right circumstance, I absolutely could support Tulsi Gabbard. We tend to be focused on policy a lot on this show and among our conversations, and I think that's good. So she does have some policies, though, that are obviously going to be a little bit left. She's got some economic Bernie Sanders in her, which I don't love. But more important than that now, to me, is the fact that Tulsi Gabbard and many other politicians, I almost look for this more than anything, they're not part of the swamp or whatever you want to call it. They don't consider that to be a good thing. They question the status quo. They're America first. There's lots of names, whatever angle you want to come at it. She has that thing where she is always questioning, why are we doing this? She's questioning the powers that be. And that, to me, almost transcends party at this point, although you don't see a lot of Democrats doing it. And the one Democrat you did see doing it now is leaving the Democrat Party. So anyway, long answer to that question. But yes, I would consider voting for her.
So you would vote yes?
Yes.
Because it's, would you support Tulsi Gabbard for president, not would you consider?
Oh.
But you'd say yes.
I'll say yes anyway.
Bradley?
Here's my thing.
Bradford?
That thing that you were talking about, I know what it's called. It's called populism.
Kind of, yeah.
It's hard to define, but I know it when I see it, and that's what she has. She is a populist, but she's a left-leaning populist. And for me, it's about policy. I need good policy, and there's a couple things that she's talked about that I don't like and that I can't get behind. I am not pro-choice. I couldn't support that. I'm very pro-Second Amendment, and she is not. She's talked about, limits on the Second Amendment and stuff like that. I can't get behind that. Sorry. It's just not my thing. So if you gave me the opportunity to vote for her or somebody else, provided the other candidate was more in line with my values, I'm going to vote for them. That's why I wouldn't support her for a presidential run. I would much rather have a Ron DeSantis or somebody along those lines.
So you're a no vote.
I'm a solid no.
Hannah, did you have an opinion on this?
I have not voted in our own YouTube poll yet because I don't know enough about Tulsi Gabbard off the fly. But I've been reading some stuff today, listening to more conversations, and I still haven't decided yet what my vote would be. But I'll get it in before 2:35. But
I would be a no vote for Tulsi Gabbard. Definitively no. And I think it's an interesting conversation to have because I think Tulsi Gabbard is great. I think she's good for the country. I think she's good for America because she is the type of person who could come on the scene and those key issues that Brad listed. She has supported universal basic income ideas. Like, these are not things that I can support and get behind. And just because this person who is running for president is nice and respectful and collected, and this not a reason to or not to vote for someone, but she's beautiful. I love her presentation of everything. The way she brings her thoughts to the table. She is somebody who is about thought and about discussion and about policy. And that doesn't really play in this environment we're in right now. But the idea that she would publicly step away from the Democrat Party, and I love that she didn't step into the Republican Party and keep her own values the way they are. I wish that she was like, the Republicans were right about these things and I'm pro-life. I wish that she would say that she has shifted her values on these key issues that are important to me, like Brad was listening. And then I could be like, welcome, high five, rock and roll, aloha. That's what she says all the time. And she hasn't done that. That doesn't make her not valuable to me. In fact, it makes her more valuable to me because she is somebody who is presenting herself on a basis of ideals and policies and not the constant cult of personality. So would I support Tulsi Gabbard for president? No. But there are a lot of Democrats who are good people, who are respectful, who are well presented, that I would also not support for president because their job is to represent me in this country. And I think that to do that, you have to actually be conservative. She is not.
You know, the other thing that I like about her, she's willing to talk to the other side. You know, if she has a disagreement, she is more than willing to talk to anybody about why she believes what she believes. And I think that's something else that I like, that I think that we need more of on both sides. Let's have that conversation. Come on over here and we'll talk about it, or we'll go over there and we'll talk about it and whatever. And we can have a good faith discussion about what the issues are and why we are where we are on those issues.
I'm almost glad that she didn't say, now I'm going to be a Republican, because that to me looks like then you'd understand what her motivation was. And when I saw this early this morning, I started asking the question, which I always do, well, what's your motivation? And I can't really find a financial motivation for, I'm not saying there's not one there. There might be. But it doesn't jump right off the page to me that there is a reason that she's doing this to be supported by some other party or whatever.
I mean, there's absolutely a benefit for her brand to have a definitive lane that she's in. It's hard for her to be, I'm Tulsi Gabbard and I'm a Democrat, and everyone going, but you're really very critical of what the Democratic Party is doing, as is evidenced by the people who are replying, the blue checks that are replying to her tweet saying, you're a Democrat? I mean, for her to come out and define it and to have a lane that isn't owned by the left and owned by the right, and for her to have a show like she does and to have all the media behind her, I do think that there is a benefit for her to go out and define herself, but that doesn't have to mean it's bad.
No, and I think what I'm saying is it wasn't obvious to me that she has a book coming out. You know, that kind of stuff where, and maybe she will. Maybe tomorrow she announces that she just has a book deal, and maybe that's coming. But I didn't immediately see, oh, this is because the Lincoln Project decided to support you and you had to do something to get their support or something like that. It's of her own doing, and I respect that.
Hannah, why don't you read a couple comments before we go to break, and then we'll get the results on the other side.
Andrea from YouTube says, I would not vote for her today. I love what she said. I'm proud of her for saying what so many Americans are thinking. Need to know more about her and her voting record. Fedora from YouTube says, Tulsi for president? No for now. She has to prove her true convictions over time. We need serious leadership in the right direction. The U.S. is on a precipice of self-destruction right now. Beth from YouTube says, I like her, but not ready to support her as president. I'd like to see more of her actions before I were to make a decision like this. Rob from YouTube says, I voted yes for Tulsi. However, there are quite a few others I would vote for over her. There is no reason why I would exclude her from consideration. Kurt Voss from YouTube said, I don't know enough about where Miss Gabbard stands on the issues that matter to me. She ran as a Democrat, so she wasn't getting any attention from me.
So I just peeked at the YouTube live chat poll, and whoa, I'm pretty blown away by what I'm seeing on today's poll, especially with the amount of feedback that we've gotten. So go there now, Annie Frey YouTube channel. We are live. You can watch us. We're waving hi to the camera right now. Oh, no, don't do that, Ryan. Don't show them that. Ryan, no.
Just a little skin.
No. Put it away.
Put it away. Wait a minute now. You're just saying things to make me sound bad. None of that's happening. I wasn't doing anything.
This is fake news.
Now
Ryan.
I will. Now you're going to see my butt.
You sound real nervous.
Oh, man.
I was talking about your knee. But anyway, go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote. And tell us if you would support Tulsi Gabbard for president, yes or no. You'll get to peek at the results if you go there now on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat. But we need to hear what you have to say and see if you can make a difference in this poll. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Show.
What's bringing you out of political retirement here, Dennis Hancock?
I've known Tim Fitch for 20 plus years. When I heard that he was drawn out of the district, I took it as a sign that maybe it was time for me to get back into it.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
I want to personally invite you to the St. Charles Vitae event. This is an annual event, and it is such an amazing one to be a part of. Abby Johnson is going to speak at this event, and you are not going to want to miss this. Abby Johnson worked at a Planned Parenthood. She worked in an abortion facility and had a drastic change of perspective on this very important issue. Nobody can talk about this issue the way Abby Johnson can, and she's going to be in St. Charles on August 27th to do that for you. Get your tickets at adsforlife.org and participate in the annual St. Charles Pro-Life event from Vitae Foundation. She is part of the movie Unplanned that many of you have seen and potentially heard that story. But this is an event, one of a kind, where you get to actually participate in something that is awesome to take in, but really awesome to support. Will you do it? Will you go register and get your tickets today and bring friends? Make this a movement that is even bigger than it's ever been before. You can go online to adsforlife.org.
Why are some people afraid to enjoy their retirement? And why are some people so worried about spending money during their golden years? Maybe it's because they're afraid of running out of money. Maybe they're afraid of depleting their nest egg, either through spending too much or through investment strategies that could result in losses. Hi, my name is Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Do you have a fear of depleting your savings and running out of money too soon? Let me help put your mind at ease. I can help you create an optimal retirement income distribution strategy that helps to maximize income from your retirement savings and eliminate your fear of running out of money. Call 314-328-6000 today and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side fighting for every last dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Odyssey celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month and the trailblazers who made their mark worldwide. Born in Puerto Rico in 1934, Roberto Clemente played right field for the Pittsburgh Pirates from 1955 to 1972. Roberto was the first Latino inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1973. Odyssey pays tribute to Roberto Clemente for being a hero both on and off the field on National Hispanic Heritage Month. More on the Odyssey app and celebrate the sounds and stories of Hispanic heritage at odyssey.com/HHM.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Up-to-the-minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Would you like to swing on a star? Carry moonbeams.
The Annie Frey
on the
Show
jar
is streaming online.
and be
Watch us
better
live on
off
YouTube
you
and
are.
subscribe.
Or would you rather be a mule? A mule is an animal with long, funny ears. Kicks up at anything he hears.
His back is brawny, but his brain is weak. He's just plain stupid with a stubborn streak.
And by the way, if you hate to go to school,
Isn't it fun to hear Bing Crosby
you may grow up
sing something other than Christmas music?
Mm-hmm. It makes you forget that
He's not just a Christmas, like a,
yeah.
like a reindeer.
That's what Christmas has become, isn't it? Is
Yeah.
like time capsules.
Yes.
Little time capsules.
It's one of my favorite things. My husband bought me, for my birthday this year, he got me a turntable.
Sweet.
And
That's cool.
I buy records at estate sales, and it's all old stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's just a whole vibe, Hannah.
I don't like that word. I like what you're talking about.
But you know what I
don't-
mean?
Mhm.
It's like a feeling, it's a mood, it's a vibe.
We
Wait,
got-
before, what? Go ahead.
Well, we got a turntable in our living room now with speakers. It's like a built-in single unit thing, and so we're playing all mostly
Like
my
a huge console, like
not
the
one of those
old-timey
big ones.
ones?
It's a more modern one.
I
I'd say
love
it's
those, but who's
Did you
got
steal
space
Annie's?
for that? Yeah.
No, I did not
It's
steal
next to
Annie's.
his my Gracie's.
Yeah.
I've got one of
In
her
the spoon
Gracie's
drawer.
because it's nice. Looks nice on my mantle.
Just one spoon in that drawer, though.
People always ask, "You win that?" No, but I know who did.
But I have it.
Yeah, and it is mine now. Squatters' rights. But we've been playing old records from my dad and mostly stuff that he had, maybe even my grandparents. And we it's funny because you assume all of it is going to be clean, and most of it is. But if you play some of those, we've got a bunch of old Disney records randomly. Some of those have some horror stuff on them that's kind of scary.
It is. The old Disney stuff is scary. And also, you crooners from the 40s. I listen to 40s on Sirius a lot, especially if I'm like going on a drive because it's a vibe.
Mm-hmm. Not in a vibe.
No.
It is a
No,
vibe.
I don't have a vibe. I have a
It's a Pontiac
minivan.
vibe.
Is a vibe a car?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That was a little bit of an extreme reaction, but sorry about that. I apologize to the room.
The songs in the 40s and the crooner days are so funny to listen to the way men talk about women.
Yeah.
It is so funny. I'm always going, whoa. I'm thinking, Grandma and Grandpa, what was going on in those days? Like, don't be looking at my generation going, like, with your nose up in the air. I see what you were doing. You were very clear about it in these songs sung by beautiful voices and big bands.
And they were a little more subtle about it, though. You couldn't quite pick that up.
No, not really.
Well, it's more than, Cardi B and WAP or something.
There we go. Google it. Before we get to the YouTube live chat poll, which you still have a chance to vote in until we shut down the YouTube live for today, your current representative in the Illinois State House, Bradley,
Yes.
is
Latoya Greenwood.
Who's running against her? You're in the O'Fallon area.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the Republican challenger?
Kevin Schmidt.
Correct. Kevin Schmidt. He's a great, hardworking guy, deserving of your vote in that area. Please, please, please reach out to Kevin Schmidt's campaign and support him if you can, because he's one of those seats. That would be such a dramatic. It's doable too. I'm not saying this like it's not possible. It's actually very doable for sport. Help us beat her.
Yeah.
But this is funny.
For fun.
Yeah, just for fun. You got nothing to do. The Cardinals are out of the series, and I don't want to talk about it. I
will go in front of Latoya Greenwood's house and spike a football.
Yeah.
All that love you have for Albert Pujols. Shift that to Kevin Schmidt.
Yes. That's exactly what we're trying to say here. I wanted to show you this, Brad, because somebody sent this to me.
Okay.
And I said, you need to prove to me that this is real before I go on the air with it. And they found where Latoya Greenwood's, it's a Facebook ad that she's running.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
No,
I didn't show this
I think
to
you talked to me about it, though.
Look what Latoya, so I'm looking at this from Facebook.com, the ad library on the Friends of Latoya Greenwood. Read what that ad says there about Kevin Schmidt, who I will tell you right now is a chiropractor.
Kevin Schmidt voted to eliminate funding for seniors in-home health care. He's not in office. He's never been in office.
Like, how do you designate that?
That's the worst lie ever.
That's not what I thought you were going to say. They're going to say something about he's a chiropractor. He wouldn't do that.
He's a chiropractor. He can't do that.
It is not possible for him to do that.
Kevin Schmidt voted to eliminate funding for seniors in-home health care. Where? How? When?
A Pontiac vibe. What the heck? Where? Where did he vote for this?
Kevin Schmidt is the answer to the problems in Latoya districts. In Latoya's district that she has run into the ground. And Kevin Schmidt is a chiropractor who's sick and tired of small businesses in this area having to pay astronomical taxes, of being in a district that is a disaster where they prioritize cronyism in St. Clair County over and over and over again. Kevin Schmidt's just minding his own gosh darn business, straightening out people's spines. And someone's like, hey, Kevin Schmidt, how do you feel about seniors in-home health care? Did he say anything about that? How does it get put on an ad? And it says here, it shows that it was sent out to between, it says, let's see here, about the ad.
It really says
10 to
voted?
50,000 people, and they spent $100 to $200 on it. And it says that it made 3,000 to 4,000 impressions. The literal ad here says, I'm showing it to you, Extreme Kevin Schmidt voted to eliminate funding for seniors in-home health care. What is that crap?
I already don't like him.
They're so dependent on you being uninformed and not knowing anything.
Go, you guys.
Fake news.
I slammed my phone down. Turn the microphone on. Go support Kevin Schmidt for the fun of it, because Illinois deserves better than this type of blatant bull. Looney! Woo!
Sausage.
So has he ever held an office?
He's a chiropractor.
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure.
He's a chiropractor.
Because you see a lot, obviously. We've all seen. They take the tiniest little morsel of something and then spin, and they've made some sort of piece of gold out of it.
YouTube poll.
Okay. I don't get it.
That's a full-on just lie, though. I mean, there's not even a morsel in there.
Look at
114th,
Yes.
114th District, the State House, represented by Latoya Greenwood. I challenge you to look up, if you were in the 114th, have you met Latoya Greenwood? Has she done anything for you? The answer is no. And she is a co-sponsor of the Safety Act.
Ooh.
Need I say more? Kevin Schmidt for king. Or maybe my chiropractor.
Equivalent.
He'll straighten out Illinois.
He will straighten out Illinois. You're darn right he will. What about Tulsi Gabbard for president? Yes, no,
All right,
maybe?
that's our YouTube poll question today. Would you support Tulsi Gabbard for president? Yes or no? This has been basically a 50-50 vote the whole show, but it just swayed. 54% of the voters say no, they wouldn't support Tulsi Gabbard for president. 45% of them say that they would.
It was 50-50 when I said that. When I said
yeah, like 10 minutes ago.
Yes, and we've got a lot of votes on this one for a poll. So
Amy Gibson from YouTube says, I look for candidates that support my values. She does not support most of mine. Had to vote no. The Paladin says, as much as I appreciate her coming out and saying the obvious, I will never, ever vote for a Democrat again. They've proven that they will never promote any policy that puts America first. Paul from YouTube says she needs time to prove who she is first. Donald from YouTube says, I don't like her Second Amendment stance. CD from YouTube says, I would pick no for most of her policy reasons, but in regard to 2A, she may be changing her mind on that from the last couple of her posts. Only way I would vote for her is if she would only option to what the left has to say. Dakota from YouTube says, I voted yes. However, there are other options I would much prefer over Tulsi, like Ron DeSantis. Pat from Facebook said, no, I would not vote for her. The Bat King said she's still a liberal.
Well, the Bat King has spoken. What does Kevin Schmidt say about it?
Okay, sorry.
There's some good points in there about Democrats. Like, why would I vote for somebody who's halfway to where I want them to be? You know, like that's where a lot of Illinois Democrats, I keep seeing ads for Nikki Budzinski. Have you seen these? Where all she says is, well, I'm going to go into office to fight inflation and be hard on crime.
Well, vote against your freaking party, Nikki Budzinski.
Exactly. And then if that's what you're running on, why wouldn't you just vote for the Republican, who obviously has been doing that?
Because she's saying it so she can get elected.
Exactly.
And if the Democrats are saying it, then people are feeling it. I cannot stress enough. We had Regan Deering in studio today running for the 13th against Nikki Budzinski. Did you find Nikki's contact?
I'm still working on it.
We're going to contact Nikki Budzinski today and ask her if she'd like to come on the show.
Great.
That would be fun.
It's all about fun.
It is. That's all we care about on this show.
Yep.
Is yuck. Fun. See if you can book Kevin Schmidt on the show.
I'll do my best.
He's busy. You'll have to interrupt his voting.
Yeah.
Can you imagine he's like sitting in his office at the end of the day, just like practicing voting, casting ballots. Like, this place is a dump. I wish I could do something about it. Fine. I'll run for state rep as a Republican in the Illinois State House 114 and take LaToya Greenwood out of the mix. With your help. Kevin Schmidt for everything. It makes me so mad. Stick around. Mark Reardon coming up next.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
At Diamonds Direct.